We're gonna go live right now.
Don't put me first. I don't want to be first.
All right, let me play the intro. All right, hey, welcome everybody to TNG Podcast episode number 23. I'm Joe McClung, otherwise known as Mortarman. I'm your host along with Purist Visions from Purist Gamers, and we are here with TNT 120, X Kilobyte, and Slasher JPC. What's up, guys? We're going to have a great show today, aren't we?
Absolutely.
I hope I
Who?
introduced everybody correctly.
No,
Um,
you didn't. Who the hell am I today? X Kilobyte.
I,
Hey
I
guys, I'm X Kilobyte.
Well,
Hi.
let's take this opportunity for you to properly introduce yourself. I apologize.
Okay, no one knows me here except
I
Dust.
do. I was gonna say, shut your mouth.
I'm Jason 3KB from 3 Kilobytes, also known as X something, whatever you called me.
Okay, man, I got that totally all wrong.
He's my ex-man. That's what I'll
Also
say.
XKB.
Hi.
So, Jason, take a minute to tell us about your channel and what you do.
On 3 Kilobytes, we usually review video games and do gaming debates. We do lots of discussion videos, so topics that are currently, floating around in the gaming community. We do some Minecraft when we want to make no money, and
Oh my
and
god.
we try to get some big guests on the show. We've had everybody from like David Hayter, who plays Solid Snake and wrote X-Men 1, 2, and we just had some Paranormal Activity people on the show, like Grant Wilson from Ghost Hunters, and I think coming up we got Victor Lucas, who's sort of the Canadian version of Adam Sessler, and I don't know who else we have. I think Tom Green's actually coming here.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Sounds like
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
sounds
had
awesome.
really good success so far. We
absolutely
hope
not.
to get some celebrities at some point in time on the podcast. I've got a few ideas.
Well, you
We're
got
gonna
one
try
right
to
now.
we're gonna try to approach some people that are not like A-list celebrities, if you know what I mean. But just everybody from, it can be people on YouTube or people that are just known on television or radio or something that don't have much to do with YouTube at all. They don't have to have a YouTube channel. So,
Hmm.
but our audience is still small, and so we do have a lot of big plans. But before I go any further, TNT, why don't you introduce yourself, buddy?
Yeah, I am TNT's 120. I've been a small-time YouTuber for a little over 7 years. I started out with a channel that's called TNT's 110, but sadly enough, I got a copyright on that one, so it got booted out the system. But yeah, uh, TNG, Next Gamer Network here, was gracious enough to give me this chance to become one of their partners. So yeah, I'm here today to say you better try it because if you don't, you're gonna miss out.
We're happy to have you, man. Welcome to the network.
Someone, I'm talking to the person in the chat. They just they thought that we were just not live, but we were doing it. And I said no, that we just had some tech problems.
Yeah.
So no, we're good.
Um, the guys may want to refresh their pages and hit broadcast again because their cameras are froze up. And I hope that we don't continue having problems like that because I think every time it does it, I have to redo their cameras. Try refreshing, guys.
I just did. How's mine?
I did too. Yeah,
I
broadcast.
wish there was a way for me to refresh the live stream camera in the XSplit.
Where's this being streamed to, by the way? I don't.
The Next Gamer Network, our
So
main channel.
YouTube.
Oh, it's on
Yeah,
YouTube.
Yeah,
yeah.
with 21,000 subscribers.
Sadly enough, it ain't all of them that's watching at one time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they trickle in like a late night piss.
yeah.
I'll tell you what, guys. Since I'm having problems with the broadcaster, I'm just going to capture the screen region from the Google Hangout video feed at the bottom. So if you'll switch your cameras over to Google Hangout, I'm just going to capture
Okay.
the screen region down there.
So
Because every time it freezes, I have to reset your guys' cameras. And I don't want to interfere with
so
Big
this.
pain in the ass.
we should switch over.
Yeah,
Yeah, on the Google.
yeah.
So sign out and all that crap. Okay. Hit
That way I know our podcast will run smoother. I'm sorry about that. Okay. All right. I see
Oh.
Justin. I see Jason waiting on TNT.
Now I can see Jason's sexy face all the time. It's like you're there. I just
Hi.
kissed my.
You weren't kidding about a gold
Don't
microphone,
do
huh?
that. Who
All
are you
right.
looking at? That's scary. Are you looking at somebody weird? What the hell's
Who?
going on over there?
Me?
All right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Jessica. She's like right over here.
Oh. They're tied up.
She's tied up.
Okay.
No, she's not.
Handcuffed.
She's actually watching from the shadows.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we just chill. We're just chilling, like
Mm-hmm.
villains. Jessica's playing laptop games. I'm on podcast. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. I've got your
I don't
screen
rhyme.
region now.
There we go.
I don't got time to rhyme.
You've been doing good so far.
I know. I know. I really gotta know which way is this podcast gonna go.
All
Oh. I think I just
right.
really lost my fucking flow. All right.
Am
All
I
right.
supposed to be
Cool.
part of a network to be on here?
No.
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 You guys are like, yeah. What do you mean?
All right. Justin, you had an announcement you'd like to make.
Oh yes, yes, everyone.
Oh, you're gonna
Deal.
tell them about the wedding?
No, that's there's no, God, there's no rumors. There's no babies. There's no wedding.
So you
Later.
guys, wait, you
Ah,
guys aren't getting married.
But you
no.
mean us, not Jess, us.
Yeah. Oh, us. Oh. Sorry, I forgot. There's two separate lives I'm running here. One with you, one with Jason, apparently. So, yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. Do you like the paranormal? Do you like ghosts? Do you like crazy ghosts?
No, not really. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
Oh,
I
hell
do.
yeah.
yeah. Well, if
Can't
you
get enough of
do,
it.
I, me and Jessica have a Kickstarter project running called Project Haunts. Scary, right? It's such an original name, but I like it. It rings. And basically, we are trying to get funding to get camera equipment, a couple different cameras, some EMP detectors, and gas lodging to basically go all over Arizona, which is where we're from, and document, talk to various owners of haunted locations, also businesses or hotels, and also urban legends and weird, mysterious things like UFOs and Sasquatch and all that furry things. So
Sweet.
that's kind of what we're doing, and we're just, we've only got actually 12 days left, and we don't think we're gonna make it, but we're hoping that maybe something will come in the last, 2 weeks, maybe give or take, and yeah, so yeah, that's basically Project Haunts in a nutshell. So you should send it to your friends, send them the link, and spread it all over. And you can find it on Kickstarter by just looking up Project Haunts. I believe it is the one in order, which it should be. And that's pretty much us in a nutshell. And the cool thing about this, though, is that we actually promote getting feedback from people locally or out of state for investigations. So, like, if you have a residence that's you have, maybe you think something weird's going on, you can have us come in and check it out for you. Or, if you have some kind of story of some sort for in Arizona or possible future episodes, if this was to take off, we would possibly go to other states as well. But obviously, if this doesn't get funded, don't worry. We still want to do it. It's just going to take a lot longer for us to actually accomplish. And the main goal was to have about 6 or 8 episodes done in about a year,
Uh
and
huh.
they'd be web based, and there'd be a DVD and all that good stuff. So if it's something that sounds something that's interesting to you guys, you should definitely check it out.
I think it's
Do you
going to be
guys
a cool
wanna
project.
do
I
you guys want a
subscribed.
link
I
to it?
subscribed to the channel once you got it up, not long after, and
So
I'm waiting to see what you guys
and
can get going.
and I mean, the other thing about it too that we were trying to promote is granted, there is a we thought about this. There is a lot of paranormal shows out there, but how much of it is actually real? How much of it is like camera tricks in Hollywood? So this was trying to be raw, real, with also multiple different people coming and joining us for these investigations that aren't always the same people. So you're getting a broad range of people that are not just the same cast members every time. You'd have core people like me and Jessica, maybe a few others that would be in most episodes, but you'd also get other people that are maybe believers or maybe non-believers or hugely skeptic. So that was another thing to kind of get an overall almost amateur yet professional look at what could possibly be out there in the state of Arizona. So that's Project Hans in a nutshell. Yeah,
I think it's going to be cool, man.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
I
I
hope it
think it's
goes real
awesome.
well. I
What I
think it
like
sounds like
about
a
it,
great idea.
what I like about it is how, like you said, there's not going to be any camera tricks, none of that bullshit. It's just going to be,
Depending on what you're getting. So it can all add up, plus gas to go all over Arizona and
yeah.
lodging and everything. And it's just it's kind of an expensive thing. But I mean, I've seen what some Kickstarters could do. I talked to a few other people about it, and everybody seemed to think for all that, the editing, the time, it seemed to be a plausible goal. So that was what we went with, and
Yeah.
so that's I figured the worst case scenario is I can try and at least I can say I did it. If it fails, hey, I'll just have to maybe try again, maybe tweak something and go for it again. But like
Well,
I said,
I'm gonna do my best to try and support you in any way that I can. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, like I said on Twitter, that I've supported. I support interactive video. I don't know if you guys know what that was. I
yeah,
supported
yeah.
that. So this wouldn't be the first time. So
Hey, didn't I film that show?
I think so.
I could have sworn I filmed that season and edited it and had to deal with Guns for Hire putting lint in my mouth while I slept.
Oh, that's what that was. Yeah,
What do you put in your mouth? Sausage links?
Well, here's my story. I don't know if I could take over for a second.
go for
Go
it.
Sure.
ahead.
I'll just tell this really quick. So there's another whole project that Guns and I shot that is not even available, and nobody knows what happened to it. And I'll give you guys a world exclusive. I
Was it
probably
the
shouldn't.
Woods thing?
Yeah, I shouldn't
Yeah.
talk about it, but it's never coming out. But Guns and I, and well, Guns and Mike and I from 3 Kilobytes went up north, and we were going to film something called Project Mayhem or some shit. I don't know what he was naming it. And that failed miserably, but I'm not going to get into it because I think he might have the footage. We might put it out there one day. But we went on interactive video. That was amazing. That was in New York, and the episodes were online, and people loved it, and blah blah blah. So he's like, let's do something else in the woods, where the woods with like bears and all this crazy shit. But what we didn't realize is when we got there, it was like opening a door to like a billion like just flies and insects. And if you literally swiped your hand in the air where we were, you would probably kill like 50 of them. That's how bad it was.
Oh my god.
So we got it. We had all like we got tents, all this stuff. Everything was planned. Food, tents, budget, all this stuff. We go up north, open the door, and we're like, we can't film this. We can't film this. We're like, we can't do this. Then, long story short, we started filming, and like I almost died of heat stroke. Then he almost died of heat stroke in a tent, and then, you know, he wanted to
It's
put his like we were in the tent at night, and he would like like he's got this fascination with belly lint, and he
I would
collects.
have never guessed that.
Yeah, he always pulls out this belly lint because he collects it all day. And at the end of the day, he's like, we try to see who's got more lint in their belly. And one night he tried to put it in my mouth while we were in the tent sleeping.
Ew. Oh, that's disgusting.
Um, and I don't know if I actually ate it or not, but so yeah,
You should
that
have
was our,
eaten it.
yeah. So anyways,
That's
interactive
sad
video.
because that the Woods thing, I mean, he promoted it a lot. It sounded like it was going to be really awesome to watch. Like it'd be really funny.
Oh, it's funny.
It's pretty sad that it never did get out there.
I've
but you
seen
said
an
there's a
episode. It was very
possibility
good.
that it might.
Um, I'm I can't really comment because I don't have the footage. He
Uh huh.
has the SD cards, and I think he might have lost it to be honest. But I really don't know.
Hmm.
Well,
Um, you know,
still
lots
a
of
good story.
yeah, lots of funny
Yeah.
stuff happened on that trip, but
And
I wish it came out.
and maybe now that belly button lint is actually haunting that area, so in the future I can go investigate it. I think it's perfect.
It
There you
really
go.
does. It all
Seriously, dude.
circles around.
Seriously,
You know
dude.
what?
You need to take up the phone, call him, and say we got to get this footage out.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know, I know. Everyone, somebody asked me about that footage like every week. And unfortunately, I don't have. If I had it, I would have edited something together. But
I mean, he did say he was going to do it. He might do it eventually, but that never ended up happening. And now with all the new stuff coming out on the You Always Win channel, I don't think you have time for that. Anyway.
no, I think he's coming here soon-ish. I don't know what's going on with it. I'll bring it up and see what's going on. But it
Okay.
definitely it was not what we thought it would be.
Well, at least it would be funny.
Oh yeah.
If not,
Well, yeah,
maybe.
I'm pretty sure in the first episode it's like me taking a shit in a hole in the middle
Dude,
of the road.
that makes it worth it already. Like,
Yeah.
why are we not seeing this? Why?
Yeah,
It was ridiculous.
that's going viral immediately.
I like real life
So
videos. I like
I
stuff
got
like
an
that.
idea here. Justin and I are both like paranormal fans. Obviously, he's a nutball and wants to go across the country and chase ghosts.
Woo!
Um, I gotta ask you and put you on the spot here. So I'll tell you a quick story of something paranormal that happened to me, and then I want to see what you would do to try to come in here and say if it's real or not, or
Okay.
what research you did. So if you know Kat, who's also on the show with me on 3 Kilobytes, her and I used to date. Long story short, we were in bed together after, yes, we did it. But later in the night, I don't know why I added that part. Um,
I
It's
know why.
details, man. It's
it's
details. It's
public
cool.
now. I don't care. World exclusive that I announced that her and I had sex. But anyways, so her and I at the exact same time heard the doorknob literally shake, and then it sounded like somebody let go of it.
Where it sprung back into its original position.
Yes, and the door, this is what's funny is her door used to have sort of like wind would always push it open.
Hmm.
So usually at nighttime, if the door was open at all, it would blow open because of the wind. But this was a case where the door literally like made a loud sound, and we both heard it. And I asked her, "Did you just hear that?" And she's like, "What did you hear?" And I'm like, "You tell me." And she's like, "It sounded like somebody just tried to come in the room." And I was like, "That's exactly what I heard."
Okay.
And then also in that house, there's lots of so above her living room is her mother's room, and every single night you can hear what sounds like somebody rolling off the bed, stepping onto the floor, and walking over to the bathroom. And it's like a residual sort of type thing where it happens constantly. Every night somebody will hear
Is
that.
it usually at like the same time?
No, it happens like sporadically. Like
Oh,
this,
okay.
I know this sounds cliche, but usually during rain and thunderstorms, it sounds like somebody's not too happy about that, and it does
Gotcha.
act up a lot more. And then the final thing would be um, in her bathroom on the back of her toilet. All of the makeup one night just mysteriously decided to roll off the top and fall over the ground.
So here's what I
Um,
want to know: why is she still living in that house?
well, that's her mother's house. She isn't there anymore. Um,
Because I'd be gone. Like,
yeah, so the thing is like other little things will happen in the house, like she's got this like magic what's it called, the disco ball in the basement that
Disco.
you have to like turn a button on to actually start spinning it,
Gotcha.
but for some reason she was down there with her friend and it just like randomly turned on one night and was just
With
like
or without John Travolta?
uh he wasn't there.
Okay.
This sounds like some legitimate uh, spooky shit, man.
Yeah. So your question was, what would I do if I was coming to check that
Yeah,
place out?
like let's say you were coming here and I told you all those things, I showed you the hot spots like her bedroom
Well, well,
that
okay. So,
like
so
soon to be.
first off, I would obviously talk to you about it beforehand, before coming out that far to come, obviously do research. But probably what I do is I get you to tell your story, get her perspective as well, see if you guys are matching up, and record you also for this purpose, for an interview like. And then actually, I'd probably, I would probably on two hands, I would probably, maybe set up one camera in like the area where you're talking about, or recorder where you're talking about their footsteps, and then everyone else that's with me would probably have handheld cameras, and of course we'd have to figure out, like check out the door handle, maybe it was just somebody shaking the knob, you guys were in the heat of passion, maybe her mom tried to open the door. Who knows? But
What? No, wait, no. This was
basically,
after. This was like we were
oh,
asleep. It was so
okay,
loud
okay,
it
gotcha,
woke us both up.
gotcha. And the other thing I'd probably do is, how has her mom lived in that house long?
Yeah, since it was built.
Since it was built.
Yep.
So nobody else lived there beforehand.
But here's the funny part. I asked her mother, I said, was their house here prior? And she's always said no.
Yeah.
And one day we were in the backyard gardening and we were planting a tree and we found cement underneath. And she's like, oh, well, no, 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 there was the farmhouse was here. And I was like,
Oh
well,
no.
Ah.
I was like, what are you talking about? I asked you if there was a house here before.
Yeah, it's obviously a
Huh.
house.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, then at that point, you might want to go to like public records, try to get some history on the location, and see if that can actually give you some clues to what was there prior. Because as they say, whoever was there beforehand might not very much like that their farm is now gone, and that
They
they
may have
basically
never
built on
left.
top
Yeah.
of it. So, I mean, it's kind of again, we're not doing in that regard, we're not doing anything too fancily different than others that you've seen investigation wise. But again, I'm not with this project, we wouldn't be trying to do any fancy editing or cuts to commercials with the noise or or flashes of a skull face or get all buff chest like the Ghost Adventures. Like, yeah, man, bro, come on, take me, man, come into me. I want you to come into me. Take me right now. Give me what you got.
Is that
You
what
got you
is
got
that what you
nothing.
say to
Share it.
retail bike?
Sorry,
Well,
are
that's
you
what
talking about the ghost or me?
I'm talking about. I'm talking about fucking the Ghost Adventure show. That one guy, man, he gets all about like, I want you to come into me, come into me, man. Look at my muscles, come into me. But yeah, but that's a cool story though. Thanks for sharing that, man. That's
All
really
right, well,
cool.
I'm sold on it. And now I want to see you go to his I want to see you go to that house that he's talking about.
That'd be in the sequel.
Justin,
Either way.
is it right now? Is it's just a matter of funding, I guess, right, to get your
Yeah, it's
project
just a
really
matter of
going?
money. Yeah.
And are we talking about like the equipment, or do you already have some of that
You're talking
equipment?
about no, we're talking about. I mean, because the only camera I actually own is a Canon 60D, and it's not exactly the type of
Is it an
camera I'm
XLR
thinking.
camera?
It's not the kind of camera that would be. It's not a camcorder. It's not going to be something that I'd want to be carrying around and can even take very long footage. The thing eventually does buffer overflows on my SD cards, and it's just not a very good camera for
I see.
overly long, things. I don't have any night vision, so yeah, I would need 3, 4 cameras for different, myself and other people. All the equipment, the gas money to go around. Because when I say going in Arizona, I don't mean like down the street. I mean like I'm
The
in
entire
southern
state.
Arizona. I would be going as far possible up to Grand Canyon, Flagstaff, trying to
Yeah.
go anywhere I can get a good story. I heard actually a really good story of a place called Jerome, and it's a really weird town in here, and it's about 6 hours away. And they've got a hotel up there that's supposedly haunted and has been on a Ghost Adventure show. So
Okay.
it's just it'd be really neat. But again, I know it's called Project Haunts, but I don't believe in just the idea of ghost haunting. Things haunt people in general, like from things they see, they're haunted by visions, etc. So that's another thing is I didn't want
Oh,
it to
that's
be
cool.
just about ghosts. I wanted it to be about urban legends or stories of
Yeah.
maybe UFOs or anything like the up north in the area. There's a story about the Route 666 that extends through a couple different states and the weird things that have happened on there. And I thought, one cool episode, could be us going up there and going along that stretch of road, maybe stopping at some local businesses. And granted, it's not exactly one location to investigate. It would make for a really good episode of talking to these different people, maybe finding out some of their stories of where they went, and then going to a couple of those places
Yeah.
and trying to do an investigation. So it's not just about ghosts. So, and again, it was going to try to excel off of getting input from people and also working with other people, for their stories or people. Because I'll be honest, I've heard many times where people have something weird going on, like Jason was saying, and they don't want to talk about it because either A, they're in denial and they don't want to know, and they don't want other people to think they're crazy, and they don't want to talk about it. So the other idea was to maybe some people would come out and local homes where they've been haunted by something. Because for all we know, maybe they're not haunted, maybe they don't have some weird entity or whatever around them. And sometimes it's been known that people just have a mental illness or they imagine things, etc. So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that we were trying to really get the idea of being amateur yet being professional, not doing any Hollywood tricks, getting the true story or the true facts and trying to investigate, and it being by people that are either skeptics, believers, non-believers, just all run the gamut of that way. It's not pro, oh yeah, it's definitely ghosts, or it's definitely this, or
Yeah.
it's not pro, well, this isn't real.
So
So
you're
that's
Right.
kind of where we
basically
were
going
going
in
at.
there,
It's always good to have a skeptic in the bunch. That way they can look at it objectively,
Yeah,
and with
exactly.
unbiasedly, or something.
Yeah.
So what
So
it seems
that's
like to me is you got to get over the hump of getting the equipment because that's probably the most expensive
Yeah,
thing
that would be
at
the
the
most
moment.
expensive. And see, here's another thing I'm not really too sure of that I would obviously have to kind of find out more so is that, you see these places to go to these hotels and stuff. Now I know a TV show, they probably go to a hotel. I doubt they're paying for the room. I don't know for sure because they might have some kind of agreement like, oh, we're here, we're doing the show. You're gonna get exposure and you're gonna get, TV time. So you can just have the room and run for free.
That's probably how it goes, I would
For
imagine.
smaller people though, like this kind of event, I probably would have to fork over my own money for rooms for people and get special permission just to explore more grounds than people are allowed to. So that's going to
Yeah,
end up giving the cost up. The DVDs for the certain backers would give cost up. The editing time and manpower. I mean, if I have 4 or 5 people who are recording footage, I got to go and we're there for 8 hours recording. I got to go through 4 or 5 different video recorders of eight
that's a
hour
lot of
footage.
editing.
Then you've
Yeah,
got
it
the
is.
audio recording too. If I do the EMP stuff and recordings on audio recordings to get, electronic voice phenomenon, that's a whole nother long amount of time. So that's why it was going to be 6 to 8 hours sprung out over a year with each episode popping up online as they're done with inevitably a DVD afterward available for certain backers. And then also, every backer would actually have early access. It's about 2 weeks early access on the YouTube with private access to the private URL to the link before it actually goes full blown public, where anybody can just go to the website or go to the YouTube and be like, oh, here it is. So, I mean, this is my first like Kickstarter I've actually tried to do, but it's an idea that I'm really passionate about. If I've never, I've always loved gaming, and that's always been a passion. But I'd say the next biggest one has been just the weird occurrences, weird phenomenon. I love that stuff. I just eat it up. It's
I
just
absolutely
something
love it as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just, it's just something I've been doing as a kid. I mean, I actually have a story. This isn't about ghosts or anything, but I actually have a story about an unidentified flying object. I was with my mother when I was about, I believe it was 12 or 13. We were heading over to my grandma's, or we were leaving actually from my grandmother's on a Valentine's Day, actually. And we were heading back, and at the time, I was really fascinated with flashing lights in the sky. So every time we'd be driving, like, hey, look, it's a UFO. And my mom would be like, that's an airplane, dear. Or hey, look at that. Oh, that's a helicopter. So one time I said there's a light, and I got the same response. Well, by the time we actually got back to the house, we look in the sky and or getting close to the house, we look at the sky. I said that light is still there. And at this point, it just kind of looked like a flashing light, nothing really weird, and it was far, far away, so we couldn't really see any detail. Just that this light that's kind of pulsing. So for some reason, my mom's a skeptic. She does not believe in stuff for this amount of thing. She pulls the car over right about a block down the road from my house, and we get out of the car and we're watching this thing, and she's like, what is that? It's not moving. And it just starts kind of pulsing and pulsing, and it starts pulsing and it's going faster, and we're both like looking at each other like, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? And so she's like, yeah. And then it pulses to where I can only describe. It looks like it pulses so fast that all I can see now is a solid light, just one
hmm.
solid light mass shining in the sky. And out of nowhere, it just starts going left, up, down, right, all over the sky, like faster than anything I've ever seen move. I mean, this thing is just boom, 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 boom. We're doing this with our heads. We're looking all around. It stops on a dime, and then it just arcs up and takes off in the atmosphere, and it's gone. It goes straight up in the sky, and then it
It,
just disappears like where we can't see it anymore.
it seems like these
And
UFO things happen to have like the same type of thing happen as far as like what you're saying, going
yeah,
back and forth,
yeah.
pulsating, and all that kind of stuff.
I've had, and the thing is, I've had skeptics. Oh, well, you don't know what it is. It could have been a drone or something. Like, dude, I
No,
look,
Nothing,
I don't
nothing
never see. I don't
man-made
know
changes
anything can
directions
move
like
that
that.
fast.
Yeah.
yeah, not
Yeah,
that
and
fast.
so we ran home. We told my father. He made a joke about calling sightings because that was a show that was on at the time, and he just kind of laughed it up. But the next day in the local newspaper, there was actually a story about how in New Mexico there was sightings of UFOs, and that happened to be the direction we were looking in. So it was kind of almost a reformation, a confirmation that we did see something, and it was just kind of crazy. And my mom still to this day, but she remembers that like it was yesterday. And
Wait a minute. You're close to Area 51?
well, we're in southern eastern Arizona, so we're close to New Mexico.
Mm.
So yes, so
That's
it was
But
very
that
interesting.
is a
cool.
region where a lot of UFO sightings have
Very
been seen.
interesting.
Yeah, so that's just a little side story there. I like to tell people and get funny looks for, but
I think I think as far as UFO sightings go, and you know how they often happen over the desert and way out in the middle of nowhere. I don't think it has to do with the actual location as much as it has to do with what's visible in the sky to the people who live in those areas.
Yeah.
Because if you live in an area like that, obviously you're further away from natural lights and man-made light, and the sky is much things in the sky are much more visible.
yes,
Because
Say something right
I don't
now.
think it's realistic to believe that aliens somehow pick, oh, let's go hover over Nevada. You know, it's just that shit's more visible in the sky in Nevada or Arizona or New Mexico. Or like I live out in the country, and so stuff in my sky, what I see is going to be more visible to me than what people in Dallas is going to be
yeah.
visible because of all
And
the downtown lights.
they actually had a really famous. This is about 4 or 5 hours away from me, but I've been there. There was a movie called Fire in the Sky that was actually based on a man who got abducted supposedly and went missing for days, and that was up in the Arizona mountains, the White Mountains, I believe. And that's I've been there before too. So yeah, weird stuff, man. But this stuff is fascinating to me to no end. So
Is there any
that's
paranormal stuff in Tempe, Arizona that you could check out?
In Tempe, I don't know. I've kind of looked up some stuff in there, but I haven't found anything really big. A lot of interesting stuff is kind of locally to where I'm at because I'm near Tombstone, Arizona. I mean, it's right down the street,
Wow,
basically.
yeah.
It's really right down there. I mean, I can go. Well, I've been down there many times, and been in their old Birdcage Theater, which is like the bar brothel place. Very cool place
Oh
to
yeah,
go
yeah.
to.
Ghost hunters were
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They were there. Yeah, that was a big thing in the paper when they came. And I'm also near the town of Bisbee, Arizona, which is a mining town, copper mining town. Huge hole in the ground. They got like you drive along it, and it's got a lot of stories. And as a matter of fact, that town was built basically up into the mountains, and they've got old pictures that show it. And there's a hotel there called the Copper Queen, which is supposedly haunted because of the history there. And there's a few places actually just there alone that have there's a few places there just alone that have supposedly have hauntings. And so the idea too was that the first episode would be in Tombstone and Bisbee, and then obviously branching out. We do have a military base here called Fort Chuka, and there's some creepy stories up there. But the only downfall of stuff up there is that they are a little more picky on what they allow
Oh yeah,
people
that you'd
to
probably have a hard time getting
document.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and I mean I can get on the base no problem, but the fact is they are just picky. There's actually
Is it an
a known
active
house on
military
that
base?
base. Yes, it is an active military base.
Okay,
It is
yeah.
actually it's actually where I work. Um, there is actually me and Jessica grew up there. There's actually a house that is known up there called the Carlton House. That it is known. It is like an officer's house. That when they move officers into that house, they have to tell them that it is haunted. They have to explain that this it was basically it's an old house. The bottom of it used to be the mortuary, and weird stuff happens in the basement. There's a rocking chair that rocks, and this is all like public knowledge. So they have to tell them when there's an officer moving in. This is
Wow.
what it is. So
Hmm.
you can either not live here or go for it. But apparently, from what I understand, is that it's not a harassing type of situation. So most people that live there, it's weird for them at first, and they don't like it. But most of them just get used to it, and
I
then
see.
and it's just like it's like nothing. So it's not a bad or malevolent
Yeah.
entity or spirit, whatever.
The
I
reason
So
could
why I asked about
personally,
Tempe,
I could see how I could, if I was comfortable, if I got comfortable with it, where I knew that, hey, look, whatever this is, it's not out to hurt me, it's not out to harm me or my family. I could probably become okay with it. I think I
I could
could, but
probably
at
have fun
first
with
I
it.
would be freaked out at first, you
yeah,
know. But
yeah, I
yeah, I
mean,
could.
it's kind of like in Poltergeist, when they put Carol Ann on a little spot, and she's like, "Wee!" and she just moves. I'm like, "That's cool," and then it turns bad.
Yeah,
And then it's like, "Oh crap!" I was having fun with you guys, and you got screwed up.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, so I mean, I've run the gamut of paranormal shows, as I'm sure Jason has, and Purist,
yeah,
especially if you're into this stuff. And there, from some of these stories, there seems to be some legitimately evil things in some
yeah.
places that just will chill you to the core.
The
Yeah.
Winchester House that's in California here. I've wanted to go there for a long time. They did a episode on it, and it legitimately seemed like there was some weird stuff going on in that house that I would love to just go there and do like a tour of it. But it's like, how much are they like faking of it, since
Yeah.
they got tours and all this other shit? Like, how much are they faking of it and how much is it real?
Well, I mean, and which place did you say, just so I can make sure I heard it?
Winchester.
The
Yeah,
Winchester.
I don't get me wrong. That place is fascinating beyond belief, just for the story about it and how it was created and
Yeah.
why it was created. I wouldn't doubt that there's something to it, but I mean, it's one of those things. It's such a big place. It's such a marvelous looking place that it doesn't surprise me that it turned into a tourist place, because
Oh yeah.
they want to make money off it. But it's just like the tours of the Queen Mary. The Queen Mary's like a haunted ship that's, and has been, have had many stories about its different tales and hauntings. And so I if the paranormal stuff continues to take off, which it has done more so now than it ever has before, I wouldn't be surprised if many places that are big, like I can't remember the place what it's called, but it's like a big insane asylum or something that it's been in movies and
Yeah,
been
with
on
the
the show.
tunnel, right?
Yeah, with the tunnel. And like that, they shot many movies there, and they've shot TV shows there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually made it so they're like, we're going to do tours here and
They
charge
do.
Yeah.
for it.
They
Oh,
do.
well, they do. So see, I mean, I don't blame them, because this kind of stuff is taking up more popularity, whereas
Like
before in the past,
Alcatraz.
yeah, like whereas before in the past, this stuff was kind of shunned and people didn't want to talk about it. And they're like, no, I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear
Yeah.
nothing. So
They're trying to.
it's
You're
But
talking about that insane asylum. I think it's. I don't know where it is, but it has like the tunnel that goes from the top of the hill to the bottom where they used to bring the dead bodies out.
yes,
It was
and
a
I
it was tuberculosis center.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's two then, but yeah,
is that the
it's
one
just
that Ghost Hunters International did a thing on?
No, this one.
is
This
this
was
what
like there was a movie called The Tunnel, and they also made a documentary about it where it used to be a tuberculosis clinic, and it was on the top of a hill, so lots of like fresh air would go in the top of the building. And there was like a story of a nurse who hung herself because she was pregnant, and then there was all the people died. They wheeled them out down to the train station through the tunnel.
I'm looking at it right now on IMB or IMDb.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It says somewhere in Sydney
what's
or
it
Sydney.
called though?
Um, it's not giving me the name of the actual insane
See,
asylum.
because there's that place, and then there's also the place called Waverly Hills, which is the sanatorium in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky.
I
That's
think.
another one,
Um,
unless that's the same one. Because Waverly Hills is definitely a sanatorium. But I'm trying to remember the one that's in the tunnel. If
I'll
what
find
the
out right now.
Okay.
no, it's there is a tunnel attached to it, and it's like, hang on,
We
it's
all
like
like googling and typing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like, come on, detectives. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
yeah, really. Well, see, now I want to know because I saw Ghost Hunters International did like this insane asylum and they stayed overnight and all this other stuff. But I don't know if that's the same one that we're talking about now. Um,
People want people want to know.
yeah, right. Like,
How do
it
I
says it's in
enable
Sydney,
the
Australia.
automatic updates on the comments? I disabled it for a second, and now I want to enable it. How do I enable the
You said
automatic updates
Australia?
on?
Yeah, it says it's in Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
But this movie that I'm looking at here says a network of abandoned railway tunnels in Sydney, Australia. That's probably not the same movie then.
Oh
no.
yeah, no, that's not the. I don't think that is.
Okay.
Have you guys tweeted out the podcast, by the way?
Oh
I did.
yeah. To my
You know what?
epic followers of
What's
It's
that?
three.
it's true. The one I'm looking up is called Waverly Hills
Oh, so
Sanatorium.
that is it then. Okay.
Yeah, it is in Louisville. That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, that's the one
They,
I was talking about too. So
they actually have a website for it now, and you can book tours. I'm looking at it right now.
it,
Waverly Hills Sanatorium, uh, tour information. It says it's like, okay, private investigation hours, ghost hunts. So it's $100 per person,
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking
and
at it too.
yeah, you get to do it full night, $100.
that's
Oh
not too
yeah.
bad. But like I said, see, they're already starting to. Oh, you want to come investigate? $100, buddy. hundred
Hmm.
dollars. This place is a historic old piece of shit that could be haunted. $100.
Oh yeah,
But
that's crazy. Look at remember I survived room 502. 502 is the room where the nurse hung herself.
Ah, okay.
Um, but yeah, this is the place for
Okay,
sure. So
cool.
if you're kind of getting into so
I
Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters Academy was there, Ghost Adventures,
Yeah,
I
I think
saw
they did
that.
that for our Halloween special. You know,
Yes, 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 yes.
Now,
that's the
see,
same
what I
place.
think would be cool is if you could get, we could get all one day get a group of people to go there, like, on a, one weekend or fly out every, a group of us and just do the investigation, record it, and then put that shit online. That'd be awesome. Just,
I'd totally sleep there.
I try shit bricks because I'm not gonna lie. As much as this stuff fascinates me, it
Oh
scares
yeah.
me
Oh yeah.
big time,
I'm gonna fucking pee
big
myself
time.
multiple times, but I'll sleep there.
Big time. I mean, I have gotten. There's been some generally frightening moments I've had, like where I'm like, I don't want to be here right now. So
Yeah.
let's.
I got one more paranormal story.
Okay.
I filmed a music video in the basement of this place called the Cherry Hill House here in Toronto, and it's considered probably Canada's most haunted location. And what's crazy is before we shot the video, I went there and took photos, and I have a photo still on record here of basically what looks like I can't really explain it, but it basically looks like some sort of old military, probably like 20-year-old male military guy. And I took the photo and he's in the window.
Oh
That's awesome.
wow.
And
Wow.
and while we were filming, just very weird things would happen. I think the story is basically it used to be owned by this family who lived up the street, but they moved the house because they wanted to put condos in like the late 80s. And in the 80s, my dad was telling me um, in the newspaper, there was like, they found weird, like basically like cats and animals would go in this house. And in the 80s, there was a report on animal cruelty or something, and they found all these cats like frozen and then like mummified in the walls and weird shit in this house.
Wow.
Wow.
And and there's like another famous story about the house how late at night there's this lady who lights a candle in the top floor, and there's been people who've seen it and photos and all sorts of things. But yeah, I got to go to that location and film a music video, and yeah, I took that photo, and now I have my own like piece of history out of there. And I remember showing the band after and be like, "Does this look like a?" And they like it was just mind blowing. We couldn't believe it
Talking
because
about
we
Huh.
seeing people in windows, I'm gonna put a link right now in the chat. This place right here is in my town, and a few years ago, the newspaper wrote an article about it. They had a picture of a lady at the top of this tower, and this used to be an old prison, but they made the bottom of it a bar, but they don't allow people to go up anymore or down in the basement area where the prison cells are. And basically there was like a lady standing at the top of this tower looking out, and they actually got a picture of it. I don't know if they were there for something else, but it was pretty awesome. I'm trying to find the article where it has the picture, but
Oh,
I
is
can't
that
seem to
link
find
not the
it.
picture?
It's a picture of the place itself, but not of the girl in the
Okay.
tower.
I find it really cool, like hearing these stories of pictures. For example, there was a long time ago, about 5, 6 years ago, me and some friends had this idea. Like I said, I'm big into this paranormal stuff. So we had this idea that we wanted to make our own group. That kind of never turned out to happen, just due to time and etc. life. But we did get to go on one investigation, and the investigation was through a mutual friend at work whose mother-in-law was the fire chief at a firehouse, and they were in this place called Picture Rocks, Arizona, which is about maybe a 45 minutes to an hour, I think, outside of one of the bigger cities called Tucson. And so we went there, and they invited us in, and they gave us food, and this was like night shift, and it was pretty slow. It's a smaller place, smaller town, and we started hearing all their stories. And you've got, this is what's really interesting. You've got a firehouse with firemen and women from all over because they get stationed there or they take a job. And they were giving us each of their stories and saying how a lot of them were coming to this firehouse and being told this stuff, and they're like, I don't believe it. I'm not into this. I don't believe it. And I tell you what, every single person though that worked there was a believer at this point when we're talking to them. from various things, and they had so many different things happen. And it's unfortunate we didn't really catch anything, as far as I can tell, on camera. I never got to actually get through all the footage myself because somebody else had the footage. But from what I saw, I didn't get a chance to. Hold on, I didn't get a chance to do it. So um, there was a story though that one of out of the many that they were telling is that the lady had taken a picture of the firehouse, and they were looking in the picture, and in the reflection on the firehouse there was a full head dressed Native American
Huh.
No
in the
shit.
reflection, yet they did not have any statues of any sort or anybody dressed up like that in the picture. Um, they were like, they would notice that. Another story they had is they were doing like some kind of a fundraiser, and they had people outside, coming up to them and donating this and that. And they said this old couple came up, these two ladies came up and said, you're doing a great job, appreciate you doing this. And they said, but who are the two kids up in the window? And the fire chief said, what are you talking about? She goes, well, we saw kids up in the window. She goes, there's no kids in there. We don't have any kids in the firehouse. So there was all these weird different things, like their equipment would go off at night, their doors would shut on their ambulances would be open and shut and making noise and banging. And I mean, weird shadows in one of the rooms, and they could feel somebody stepping on the bed, like if you were laying on the bed and felt pressure, like somebody was getting on the bed with you. So there's a lot of really cool stories.
That sounds interesting. Yeah, I
That
like
sounds
hearing
really
stuff
awesome.
about that.
Yeah. And I mean, most people don't believe until they get in there, but there's those places where if you go in there, you can tell like something is like, there's just something weird about the place that you can just tell right away in most places. Not all of them though.
I've got something I want to talk about real quick, and then we can continue on with whatever. It doesn't matter to me after that. Um, but tomorrow, Sunday, we're going to start our channel revamp. And actually, we're going to delete all of our videos on the Next Gamer Network. Justin, I've told you about it, and Jared, you also know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll be making a video either tonight or in the morning and posting it on the channel after I don't know if I'm going to do it before or after we delete all the videos, but anyway, it'll be the official announcement. But I wanted to bring it up in the podcast. I brought it up a little bit on the last episode, but basically what we've decided to do is, since everybody's going to have to go to the new channel layout on the 5th, we decided that we just like to have a fresh start. If you're not familiar with the channel the way it is right now, we have like 500 videos, and it's just a bunch of random stuff. There's really no method to the madness. It's not in any particular order. We've got playlists and stuff, but shit's just all over the place, and it just looks like anybody else's YouTube channel that's just in chaos. And as a network, we wanted our channel to represent us as a business. And there's a business end to being a network, and then there's the YouTube side of the network. And on YouTube, your channel is probably the thing that people see first. It's going to be your first impression of what people get of your network. And we wanted to have a more business oriented representation of ourselves, because people are most likely going to see the YouTube channel before they see the website. They're not going to see, a list of all of our partners. They're not going to be able to see all that, and they're going to go to our Social Blade. And right now, our Social Blade stats suck, to say the least. They're horrible. And so, in an effort to change all of that, we're going to delete all of our videos, and we're going to start an actual scheduled video upload schedule that's going to happen every week. And on Sundays, well, let me start. On Monday, we're going to upload a top 5 partners of the week video where we'll select partners that have a lot of good things going on with their channels or whatever, and we'll showcase them in a video on Monday. On Tuesday, it's going to be a TNG exclusive. We haven't really come up with the names of all these series just yet. It's not in concrete. Um, but the TNG exclusive will be videos that have been submitted to us. and people can submit videos on the website on the directors form. There's an application there, and people can submit videos. And so we'll choose one really epic video to be uploaded once per week on Tuesday, and that'll be a partners video. On Wednesday, we're just gonna chill. We're not gonna do anything particular on Wednesday. There won't be any uploads. And on Thursday, I'm gonna do my own series where I'm gonna start the series off with like it's gonna be like YouTube help and tutorial type videos. I'm probably gonna start with something like YouTube basics for somebody that's just getting into YouTube that really doesn't have a full grasp on exactly how everything works. I'm just gonna start from the basics and go up, and it'll be an ever evolving uh,
One
series.
question that I have is these things that you guys are planning out, right? Just for the people that are watching, are they subject to change? Like, can the schedule change? Can we have different add different series? I'm guessing that is the case, but
It
I'm
may,
just asking
it
questions.
may as new
Okay.
ideas arise, because I do have another series that I want to try to fit in somewhere where I want to do a how-to series. I'll get into that in a second. But after my series will be on Thursday, and then of course we're going to have the podcast. And this is another big announcement. The podcast is going to be on Fridays instead of Saturdays. The reason that we chose to go with Friday is that it's during the week, but it's the last day of the week where a lot of people have the weekend off. They're probably going to stay up later on Friday than they might otherwise during the week. Um, still going to be at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, and and what is it, 6 p.m. Eastern. So the time will stay the same, but we can't back it up any earlier because people will still be either at work or at school. And for the people in the UK, that's what is it, 11 p.m. for the people over in the UK. And on Friday
Yeah.
nights, 11 p.m. in the UK is probably doable. Saturday nights, a lot of people go partying, go plan their weekends, with the family or go clubbing or whatever. And on Sunday, I knew that a lot of people just want to rest and chill. They don't want to be tied down to doing anything particular. So I thought Friday would fit. I hope that that works better. Maybe our audience will grow a little bit by changing it on Friday. I hope so. And on Saturday, we're going to do a news and entertainment series where it's going to be um, Sheldon's going to do a series where he's going to review movies or games. Not really a review, but just movies and news and basic entertainment. Not really like game reviews. I didn't really mean to say that, but just news and entertainment in general. He's going to do that on Saturdays. And so
Basically, it's just restructuring everything to be more, planned out, not just random videos from partners. Which you said you're going to have videos from partners, but you
yeah,
just want it to be more structured and more about
right.
the network and
Yeah,
promoting
we're
your
looking at
partners.
uploading like 5 times a week, and we want to make being a director for the network more desirable. If
Yeah,
before I was
more like a
uploading anything and everything that people submitted because I wanted to give everybody a chance to have their video on the network. But what it was doing was saturating the channel with less than perfect video. I wouldn't say perfect, but less than great
Just the
videos. What
desirable videos.
Yeah, we want that to be something that people want to achieve. Like, man, I really want to get my video up on the network. I'm going to try better this week, and hopefully they'll pick mine. I want it to be a desirable thing. I want it to
Like,
feel like you've accomplished something by having your video on the network. But we've got to have a better network in order for people to want to do that. Because, like right now, Jason, you've got a net.
Everyone in the room gets too much of what.
You wouldn't have any desire to have one of your videos on our channel right now because for one, our stats suck, and we have a lot of inactive subscribers, unfortunately. But hopefully, uh, we can improve that. I think I'm having to reconnect to the Hangout.
back.
you got to turn it
Yeah,
down a
I'm
little
back.
bit.
Okay, I'm back. Okay.
Oh God, his clothes are off.
I'm gonna
I'm back.
make it.
All right. So I don't know if everybody caught all that. I don't want to
You're
go through it
showing too
again.
much
Yeah,
skin,
we did.
Jason.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So anyway, yeah, this is an attempt to repair the channel, give it a fresh start, a fresh look. We're having new artwork that's going to be up on the channel, the new layout and everything. So we hope this is going to improve our views, improve our overall quality and viewer experience, and hopefully this will also help our network grow.
Like I said before, man, it can only do good. Like, there's nothing bad that can come from this. At
Yeah,
least not that I can see. All I see is it being good for the network.
right. It's
And
certainly
there
not going to
needs to be
make
more.
things worse. That's for sure. Our
And like you said, right now or before at least, to get a channel or to get a video on the network, it was just as simple as apply for it. There was no like
yeah,
you didn't really have to do much. You didn't have to be much. So now, it's going to be something that's you have to
yeah.
work towards.
We want it to be more of an accomplishment as a reward. Look, you had a great video this week, and we want to reward you with having your video featured on the network. There is another series that I want to try to fit in. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it yet, but it's a really cool idea. Let's take the cinnamon challenge, for example. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I know that that's really considered a challenge, but it is at the same time kind of a how-to video. So I was thinking I would take either user-submitted videos or a video. Yeah, it could be a video from anyone really. I don't care anybody. If they've got a really cool how-to video, it could be a bar trick. It could be how to repair an iPhone. It could be how to how to how to capture gophers. I don't give a shit. It could be anything. What I mean?
I want
You know what I'm saying? Like it could be anything. How to any cool how to video or trick or whatever or tip. I think that would be awesome. You know.
I
Um,
want to pay money to have you run around and try and capture gophers. I
I
think that
used
would
to.
be
I
awesome.
actually the reason I mentioned that is 'cause I couldn't think of anything else. I used to have a gopher problem at my old house, and we had a really nice yard, right? We spent a lot of time making our yard nice, but out here in East Texas where I live, we have a very sandy ground. The ground is very sandy. We live in a very sandy area, and so underneath that grass was like this thick sand, and so it's difficult to get grass to grow in some areas, but because of that sand, you also have a lot of gophers, and it's called the pocket gopher. It's a small gopher. Um, they live alone. They don't live with any other gopher. All right, I'm back. I guess I lost you guys again. What I was saying is the pocket gopher will make a shallow feeding trail about 3 or 4 inches deep across your yard, and they can tear shit up. And so I actually hunted them with a shotgun. I would sit in my yard in a chair, like on Sunday when I didn't have anything to do, and I would wait for movement in the yard. And when I would see him stick his head up, I just blast their ass because there ain't no other way to get them.
Wait, you
So
shot him with a shotgun?
I used to shoot pocket gophers in my yard with a shotgun. Sure did.
Did you
Yeah,
get any?
I got like 5 of them.
Mom, there's a gopher, get it.
Yeah, I actually got pretty
Jesus,
good
that's a
at it.
little bit excessive, don't you think?
Well, there's no other way to catch them.
Are you like in a neighborhood?
Well, we live in the
Oh
country,
God.
but it is like a neighborhood, like it's a street, right? But that street is only like about a quarter of a mile long and it dead ends. And so, yeah, I had neighbors next door to me on both sides and neighbors across from me in the front. But we're out in
Jesus,
the
that's
country.
dangerous.
We're out in the country,
Kind of
though.
like Texas Chainsaw, though. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, we live in an area where you burn your we burned our trash. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't really have as much garbage pickup. It's out in the
Yeah.
it's out in the
Texas
country.
Chainsaw Massacre.
It's
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
legal to shoot a gun out there where I was living. But yeah, shotgun.
So
Yeah, I
here's a
sit in the
question: if they
sit in the
start
front yard in
running
a
and
chair in a
you
lawn
hear
chair with
some
a 12
neighbors,
gauge and wait for gophers. Because I was pissed, man. They were tearing the shit out of my yard. I couldn't have that.
but I thought you said your yard was like sand anyway. So I mean,
Well, my
like,
yard was nice. We worked real hard to have a nice yard, and the
oh,
sand
okay,
makes it very difficult to have a nice yard. So you have to work on it
yeah.
extra hard to
The,
get it,
the question
looking
is,
good.
did you ever accidentally shoot like your neighbor's fence or something? Because I imagine them coming out running and you missed them the first time,
No, I'm
and
talking
then
about
you hit his
shooting
neighbor's
straight down at
fence.
the ground. See, they stick their head up from the ground, and so you have to
Okay,
either.
so
I would have my chair setting directly above their
now I
hole.
picture you like with the gun in the hole in the ground and just firing over and over again.
Yeah, it would be. I would have my chair sitting over this hole, and when I see movement, when they stick their head up, I just point the barrel down at the ground and blast them. Yeah,
Well,
dirt and shit goes everywhere. Fucking gopher
that
parts
is
everywhere.
dangerous.
I am a veteran, so I am very experienced with the weapons.
I hope so. Otherwise,
Yeah,
that's a bit
totally
dangerous.
safe. Totally safe.
Totally safe. Just shoot the
Yeah,
ground.
I nailed. I think I had about 5 kills. My kill death ratio was actually pretty high.
Oh, for
Yeah,
fuck's sake.
There was one though that I shot, and actually, I guess he went down much faster than I thought he would, and I missed him. So it was like I had to, uh, five
Yeah.
kills or
Mortimer.
five
Listen to
kills,
this.
one
So
miss.
I'm in Toronto, Canada, and if our neighbor pulled out a shotgun to shoot gophers,
He'd go to jail probably, right?
yeah, you have no idea. That person would be on the news, would be like in
No fly
jail.
list.
It would be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's
There's
Oh
that's
my
gopher
god.
guts everywhere.
we do shit
Guess
like
that's
that
true.
down here in Texas, man. We don't fuck around when it comes to gophers in the yard.
Now I've seen people just kick gophers as soon as they come out, but I've never seen someone sit there with a shotgun just ready to blast them.
Yeah.
Oh my god, then you haven't met my dad.
You know what would be fun though is to be like really far away and have a sniper, and as soon as they pop their head out,
Like with a snipe them with like a 22 or something with a big ass
that
scope
seems,
on it.
yeah, that seems a lot funner to me than just a shotgun's too easy. You need to have a challenge.
Yeah.
Go with a 50 cal.
Yeah.
Yeah, be be a little bit further back, and that seems like that'd be a lot funner to me.
It was what's really weird is that on some days when I actually fired the shotgun in my front yard, to kill a gopher, no one even came outside. That there was no movement in the neighborhood whatsoever. Like I could have literally been murdering somebody and nobody would have give a shit. Nobody came
So,
outside or anything.
so Jason, if they did that in Canada, would everyone be outside in that neighborhood?
Oh yeah, they fucking everybody in the fire department and the everywhere would come.
Oh my god. And they probably wouldn't believe your story about shooting gophers
No,
though.
I'm not kidding. If that actually, if you did that here, you would go to jail for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We live where I live now is in the downtown area of my town. We only have like 5,000 people here. And
That's
so this was
small.
in the country outside of the city limits where,
Hmm.
people ride horses, shoot guns, go hunting, ride four-wheelers on the
Smoke
street,
doobies.
ride dirt bikes on the street, whatever, everything goes out there in the country. You can pretty much do anything you want to. So that's my TNG little announcement thing. So we're going to be changing the day of the podcast to Fridays, revamping the channel, have a regular upload schedule. And so yeah, about the paranormal thing, I wanted to ask you guys how you feel about Bigfoot.
Oh, I do believe he exists.
I got
I
one. Oh no.
I do. I believe that he exists, and I want it to be true. It's really cool. I so want it to be true. Um, so I would say that I'm a believer. I do follow any type of Bigfoot story on television. Totally there. I want to see all the footage that I can. I think it's
So
just a
here's my
really
question: Have
cool.
you seen the Wheat Thins commercial?
Uh, no. Uh-uh.
No,
I don't think
it's
so.
pretty good. It's got a. I think that's Bigfoot in the Wheat Thins commercial. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
Wheatens.
I think that's
Wheatens.
the yeah, I think that's the gist of it. Like
Yeah,
No, they have like the Dr. Pepper thing too and all that. They have a bunch of, or they have like a
yeah.
beef jerky
He's
one
real.
too.
Basically,
Oh yeah, the
he's
beef jerky
he's
one.
real.
Yeah.
He's around.
I fall under I kind of fall under like I want to believe and I don't believe because part of my belief is like some of the stuff they've come out with and shown proof and footprints and this and that and the other. But then the other logistical part of me is like, well, if these creatures exist, wouldn't we at some point find a dead one or or a carcass of one
Well,
or
they have talked about that. How come they haven't found a body or remains? And this will give you a good example. Depending on what region you live in, if you, say for instance a deer were wounded or died of natural causes in the woods, let's say in a heavily wooded area in Northern California or Washington State, um, it would take only about 7 days, and I've seen time-lapse video from a completely intact deer carcass to completely vanish under normal, natural circumstances in 7 days. It
7 days
basic
only?
7 days
Yeah,
only. It completely disappears.
That
And
takes
they showed
years.
time-lapse video. Other varmints eating on it. Then
Yeah,
there's
other
then there's
animals,
maggots. There's
insects.
flies. There's other insects and
It's a
animals that
circle of life.
it goes right back into basically goes back into the soil. And so that's one theory, is that because Bigfoot is said to live in more heavily wooded areas, that if one did die, that would happen. Or the other theory is that they're more of an intelligent creature and that they bury their dead, which is also possible. But I would, a serial killer doesn't have much luck killing and burying dead bodies without them being found. So I would say that if Bigfoot does that, they're pretty damn good at doing it, because
Well, I mean,
a
did
grave
he dig a
does leave
heavily wooded area
signs.
in California?
Yeah, I mean, a grave does
Well,
Dude,
leave
I'm talking to nobody
signs,
up there.
but
well,
maybe they're
well.
burying it with rocks or trees or
At the same
brush.
time, though, at the same time, even if 7 days pass, there should still be bones. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so
Well,
I
there
don't know.
wasn't
I
of
could.
the deer. There wasn't of the
Well,
deer in the time lapse. There
if
was
we're
no
talking about
bones.
if we're talking about California, there is places that people just don't go. Like there's woods places that people just don't go, and if they do go, they don't go into the woods.
And they
There's
don't
Yeah.
a
come back.
Well,
there's a
there
lake that I
there
go
are
to every
plenty of
year.
places. Yeah, there are plenty of
There's
places that have not been touched by modern day man. You
Yeah,
know,
and so it's
that
very
are so
possible that
secluded.
there's absolutely no way for anyone to know.
Yeah. For example, we have fox here in the region that I live in. You know what a fox is? A small dog-looking animal.
Do a barrel roll.
And there are foxes here. I have never seen one.
Oh wow.
They're very elusive creatures. They're very stealthy, and they only come out at night. And I have never seen one, never. But I know that they exist. Science knows they exist. I mean, we have document. It's a documented animal. But
Only come out
of
at
course
night.
they exist.
they do. They're here, but I've never seen one. So
I was in the cemetery like last summer in the middle of the day and a fox just was like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm going to fucking eat you if you come near me."
Yeah, I was up in the mountains one time and it ran right past me. Didn't even have a care in the world, but I
Yeah,
was
but see, I've never
middle of the
seen one
day.
here, and we've got a population of foxes here, but they're very reclusive around this area, and we have coyotes and wild hogs. We have a big population of wild hogs, and even hogs. There's millions of them out here, and you don't even see them that often. So my point is that if Bigfoot does exist, they're just elusive creatures. I mean, maybe it's one of those creatures that we just don't see that often, or people don't see. I do hope that they one day find a body, because that's basically what it's going to take for everybody
Yeah,
to be convinced.
no one's gonna believe until there's proof.
Look at Justin.
Justin, for God's sake.
I wish I had some cool hats or shit like that. I'd put something on for the
That's
podcast. I don't
actually
have
all of
anything.
his girlfriends and his sex toys.
Yeah. I tell her to pull on these, and we're like, yeah,
Where's
yeah.
where's the
Oh
handcuffs? The fuzzy
shit.
handcuffs.
Oh.
have you, Have you guys
Go.
heard? Guys heard about the mermaid stuff that's going on? Have you guys caught any of those television
I have heard
programs?
nothing about it.
There was a show that came on last week called Mermaids, Final Final Evidence or something like that, and there's a scientist. Well, let me start. There was some sonar testing going on with the Navy, and what happens is it's deadly to ocean mammals like whales and stuff like that. And so there was this big mass beaching. It happened all over the world. Um, this was early in the 2000s, I believe, like 2005 or 2006 when this happened. And the Navy was doing these sonar testing, and they basically killed a bunch of mammals. It's very hurtful to their ears and their hearing and their organs or something like that. And anyway, what they do is it causes them to run away from the sound, and they end up beaching themselves, and then they die. And they found a bunch of these whale carcasses on the beach all over the world, and there was hundreds and hundreds of them, and they actually found a mermaid carcass on the beach, and the scientists
I want to see this shit because
the
I don't believe it.
scientists the scientists came the scientists came actually they even have video footage of these two boys were down on the beach, and they recorded it with a cell phone, and this boy went up to this thing. It was hard to make out on the video until it raised up. It was actually still alive, and it raised up, and you could see its head, its mouth, its eyes, and everything. And it even had a webbed hand. Um, since you guys haven't seen this, you may want to look it up. But and I know that this sounds really far fetched,
This sounds like this is
but
just some bullshit.
they did find a carcass. They found some skull. They found the skull. They were able to put the skull back together. And
I found the image here.
did you?
It's in the chat.
Okay, let me check it
All
out.
right, I guess.
I got yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be it.
That's
That's not it.
That's not it.
No.
talking about
Let me see.
mermaids.
Mermaids. Uh,
That was a good picture though.
further evidence.
I see one here, but I think this could be bullshit too.
Actually, I think I've got one here. It's a very famous one at that.
What world is this?
All right. Let's see if that's it.
There's fucked up pictures
This
of
was on the
people.
Discovery Channel, by the way. Anyway, they did find a carcass. They were able to put some of it back together. They did DNA. Uh, they looked at the hip structure where they were able to prove that this creature did at some point walk upright because it had weight-bearing hips. Um, it had webbed hands and fingers. Uh, they were able to piece back the skull and everything. And then there was a submarine doing research for oil drilling, and they actually had one come crash into the side of the small submarine and also put its hand on the windshield, and they have it on videotape. They saw it come up to the windshield and stick its hand on the windshield and look in.
All right, well, see now we know what Justin's new project is going to be after Project Honors.
Yeah.
Project
but
Mermaid.
but this topic would be much more interesting if you guys had seen the story. I'm as
I'd
stupid as it
totally watch the
sounds.
mermaids.
As stupid as it
Project Mermaid,
sounds,
yes.
I'm kind of into it now. I kind of believe it. They had a lot of evidence on there. It was way
Project
more
Mermaid.
than they got way more evidence on that than Bigfoot. Oh look, he's emo Justin.
I think Project Mermaid would totally be something that I don't.
Are you guys back yet?
That.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm back. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
getting better internet pretty soon. They tell me now that let's see, Verizon Fusion or broadband home fusion is available in my area now. It's on the 4G LTE network, and so I'm about to dump this little redneck ass cable network I've got now. They
You know, it's
suck.
pretty sad when phone internet is it's better than your home internet. Like
Yeah.
that's something to be said for the internet provider that you have right now.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
suck.
precisely.
I have
So
7 megs of download speed and 3 megs of upload speed. However, it's never been 3 megs of upload speed since I've been paying for
I have better than that on my phone. I don't, and mine's not even LTE.
it. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get
You
like
got you got more
15.
you
Hoping to get like 15 megs of download speed and at least
Is that how bad
5
it
or
is for
6.
you?
Only in
Like
the
I just
rural
like
areas. In,
is
in
that how is that how bad it is around the freaking world? Because
no,
here in
yeah.
Denmark, I get I pay for like 10 down and 1 megabyte up, but I get like 3 down and 0.8 up.
Dang.
Oh, you don't want to hear what we have here. You
I
guys
want to
won't
know.
believe.
You
I want to know.
probably have like 50 to 60 megabytes of download speed, don't you?
No. The last time I tested it was 256 download and 10 megabytes up.
Only 10, huh?
256?
Yeah, it's getting switched to 250 over 250 in a couple months.
Wow.
So
Wow.
That's
I was
fast
gonna
enough to
say,
do
like,
any damn thing you want to wwithout any problem.
Well,
10
yeah.
up seems absolutely outrageously low for 200 down.
No, they cap the upload speeds in Canada, but it's changing to like 250 up.
Yeah, see,
Well,
I'm
you
Yeah.
can
getting
pay for it, but I
I'm
mean,
getting like 50, 56 to 58 down and almost 12 up.
okay. Like it takes us. I download like our PC died, and I re-downloaded like Tomb Raider. It took like 4.5 minutes to download Tomb Raider.
Wow.
All
Oh, you
right.
son of a bitch.
All
You
right.
raised
So,
So
anyways,
boobs.
so now that I've told you I have better internet, so you were gonna tell us your paranormal story there before he cut
Yeah,
out.
yeah. It's 5 years ago today, actually, that I just
Wait,
spent.
wait, wait. Sorry. Today, right now, there's a ghost behind you.
No,
uh,
no. Yeah.
I was gonna
Fuck up and
say,
let me tell the story again.
What is the? Wait a minute. What is the photo behind you? I can't make it out. Is it a?
That's my dog. Seriously, you wanna see it? Okay, cool.
Oh, it's
are
a.
you?
Is it a?
Where's the
Is it a
actual
wiener
dog?
dog?
Is he? Is he?
Is it a
Is that
Dotson?
the ghost you're talking about?
Hey, what kind of dog is that?
Oh, it's a big
Uh,
dog.
Here it.
I do believe it's a mix. It's a terrier mix. It's a Danish type of dog, but yeah.
So is that the ghost
Is
that
the
you're
dog
talking
still with
about?
you now? Is the dog still with you? Oh, he's got his.
So,
Is the dog still with
um,
you, or has it passed away?
no, he's passed away. That's an old patient.
I see. Okay.
Uh, no, but back to my story. But yeah, 5 years ago when I last spent a night over at my grandma's house. I usually never did get the good rooms, so I was sent down to the basement and lived in some small little 2 by 2 area. Fuck. Uh, and one night I woke up screaming because I felt like something was touching me, and I couldn't
Hmm.
open the door. And I've always been a big guy and stuff like that, so I immediately door wouldn't keep me in. My
Now you know
one of my
they adjusted that.
yeah, one of my grandma's younger friends came down and tried to open the door. I just kicked it open. He he ended up going to the hospital for the next 3 days.
Damn.
For kicking your door open?
Now
Yeah,
he kicked the
I kicked
door
the
and
door
probably hit
open.
him in the face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. Like he was on the other side and I just drop kicked it open.
Oh shit.
And then the next morning, I actually found out that it was a gigantic rat that was climbing up my leg.
Holy
Oh my.
crap.
Okay.
Oh, rat face killer.
Damn.
That's
Wow.
my paranormal story, but
My girlfriend would
So it
shit
wasn't
her pants
actually
if a rat was climbing
paranormal.
up her face
no,
or
but
up her
still,
leg.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Huh.
I've never spent another moment in that house. Never.
Oh, I would never. A giant ass rat? No thanks. I won't even go a mile close to that
I've seen
house.
Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. I don't. Nah, no rats for me. Thank you very much.
I'll pass. Stephen King's what? What was
It
it
was
again?
like I think it was called Graveyard Shift, I think, or was something like that. It's one of them. It's about a story about this guy that works at a mill, some kind of a mill works, and there's a bunch of rats, and when they like start freaking out and all that, there's like some creature underneath. It was a crazy,
Yeah, I'll pass on that.
crazy movie.
Ah, yeah, I know that one. That's kind of cool. That's a
Yeah,
cool horror one.
that was a cool one.
Yeah, I'll have to pass on that. So,
Jared,
Yeah, what?
Jared, what all topics did you have for today?
um, let's talk about this one first. Uh, next gen games. What do you guys want to see with next gen games? What type of games do you guys want to see come out, or what games specifically? I should say. Anyone want to start?
Well, is it just specified games or just in
Whatever you
general?
want. What type of game, or is there if there's a specific game that you want to see?
Well, I am actually looking forward to the Call of Duty Ghosts that is coming out here soon. That looks pretty damn awesome.
I honestly want to see like a Fable 4 as far as like, you know, games that are already out and known, not like new franchises. But Fable 4, I feel like they could make that game freaking awesome.
They could,
I
especially
don't
with
know if they're
the new
I
type
don't know
technology.
is Lionhead like are they done with Fable or do you know anything about that?
I'm not sure. I think that Lionhead was sold, wasn't it?
I
Wasn't
don't know.
Lionhead Studios sold, but then it just stopped because the last game I think they made was Black and White 2, wasn't it?
I have no idea. I don't really follow Lionhead that much, just Fable kind of.
I think their last game they made was Fable 3. And then
Fable 3 or
I thought Peter Molyneux left Lionheart, but I don't know if that's actually true. I don't remember. I can't remember the details. That's kind of a blur. But as far as that company in general, I have not heard much about what they're working on. Supposedly there's supposed to be a lot of surprises at E3, so I'm hoping.
yeah.
For me, for next gen games, I always am more an advocate for new IPs, and because to me they're just I don't mind series games. I mean, I love Assassin's Creed and Halos and this and all that, but I also like to see new stuff because otherwise we're not going to see anything new. So. Uh, recently coming out, Remember Me looks really cool. That's coming out recent. But for the new consoles, like I think Quantum Break by Remedy looks like it could be really cool just from the idea, even though I haven't seen much on it. But the key thing that I like to see with next gen is regardless of the technical and the graphic side of everything is just different innovation in gameplay because I think some people are going to be slightly disappointed going into the next gen simply because they're still going to get a first person shooter and the only thing that's going to be different about it is the graphics are going to look way better. It's going to have the exact same style of gameplay. And so I mean, which is it's fine, if to make games graphically better and also push that envelope. But I think some people are going to be disappointed because they're going to expect with new systems to be this whole new way of gaming, kind of like
Yeah,
when
That
N64
doesn't
came
happen
out.
right away. I
Like
don't expect
no,
that to happen right
well,
away.
like when
yeah,
N64 came out, and right away, people were like, holy shit, Mario 64 is like re-innovating platforming games, and it was copied forever, and it just really really took off, and I just I don't see that happening with anything that launches with these next gen consoles unless there's some trick up their sleeve or a hidden title they haven't shown. But I think I think for example the Killzone game that looks really pretty, but I think people are going to get their hands on that and be like, this plays just like every other first person
yeah.
shooter and it's next gen, and there's gonna be some express disappointment on that front alone,
Well,
minus all the
I
there's
think
two
you're
usability.
games
right.
that
I think you're
there's
right,
two
Justin.
games.
I think that at best all we can expect is similar titles, maybe some new titles, and they're just going to look better as far as the graphics
What
go.
is
But I think the gameplay as we know it is not going to change much.
what is that game that is about Chicago and this guy can hack everything? I forget the name of it. Do you know what it is?
You're talking
Anybody?
about you're not talking about Watch Dogs, are you?
Watch Dogs. Yeah.
Okay.
Watch Dogs and Destiny look like they're going to be two pretty good games. And Destiny most likely is going to have more games, like Halo did. So that's something that I'm looking
Well,
forward to. look
I
forward
mean,
to.
Watch Dogs looks definitely is a on my watch list. But I mean, I think the biggest fear with that game that I've got from various gamers is they are afraid it's going to just turn into,
GTA.
something like GTA or something like Assassin's Creed, and the only thing difference is going to be, oh, there's things you can hack, or oh, there's a few different things. Which, you know, for me, if it's a game that's focusing on the hacking society, and it just so happens to be an open world game and it has a similar mission style and structure to those games, I don't really think that's a bad thing per se. But I have, again, Watch Dogs is a game that has a lot of hype behind it since its first reveal, and I think if it falls into any kind of repetition or anything that doesn't tend to blow people away, it's going to be shot down as a disappointment. So I hope that
Well,
that
I'm
game
gonna
lives
get
up to
it.
people's expectations,
Yeah.
but they were set really high right from the onset. So
Oh yeah, as soon as
definitely.
Yeah.
was it last E3 they announced it?
I think so. And everybody
It
went
was
nuts for it. And, and I remember when that video came out, I was like, that looks pretty cool. But I was like, I don't know why everybody's going crazy about it. Like, it looks like it's redefining gaming. I mean, people were really going apeshit when that video came out. I was like, it looks cool. I'm down to check it out when it comes out. So
yeah. I'm gonna check
uh,
it
I've
out.
I've gotten some more interest in it as I've seen more, but I just don't know if it's gonna wow people when they actually get their hands on it. So I don't know. It'll be interesting because there's gonna be a lot of big games coming out around that time. Like you got Watch Dogs, you got the next Assassin's Creed, you got GTA, all these open world type games that are going to be releasing. It's going to be interesting to see where gamers what their preferences slash
Destiny looks
opinion.
like a Borderlands, Mass Effect with like Halo feel all in one. That's what it
Yeah,
seems like to me.
that I think from what I played of the online shooter Defiance, I have a feeling it's gonna it's not gonna play exactly the same because one's first person, one's third, but they're both shooters, they're both MMOs, and they're both in vastly huge environments. So
I
Well, I
want to
know
try an MMO game. I haven't tried one yet. Jason, you have a
yeah.
fan that just commented on the comments on the live stream. Says, Jason Hoot, your fans are here, bro.
Hi, buddies.
Nice.
BLK out 2. That's his name.
Yeah.
Blackout 2. What?
Blackout 2, yo. Thank you for watching, yo. I'm going to be cooking steak on the barbecue and be thinking of you when I eat.
What the fuck? But
wow.
yeah, I mean the next gens are. I'm just to be for personally me, I'm just excited for all the new systems. I'm like, sweet, I'd like to see what developers do with it and can incorporate with all their unique functions and abilities. And ultimately, I like to see innovation, not
Yeah.
Yeah.
just in a graphical sense.
You know,
Uh,
yeah. You
That
know,
went far.
yeah.
for me personally, everyone throws this word innovation around like it's expected. You gotta make a new system, but if it's not innovative, then it's not gonna go anywhere. No one's gonna play it. Me personally, I don't give a shit about throwing so much innovation in. What I need is basically like Justin. I need some new IPs, maybe some new ways to play. I'm not, I think when something is working perfectly, yes, you can innovate on it, but I don't necessarily care if somebody's like, oh, you can now do this and this and this. I just want to play a good game with my friends on a really good online service. And I think Xbox has always had a very good online service with Xbox Live. So I think for me to be able to play like Battlefield 4 with Justin and maybe possibly from what I'm hearing with 126 other players on each side, that's pretty exciting times for gaming when we can go into games and basically scan our faces with the new Kinect, put our actual faces onto our characters. So when I run up to Justin and I'm talking through my Kinect, we can actually see that it's Justin and he looks like Justin. You know what I mean? Um, same as
I
like
would
Mass
love that.
Effect. Same as Mass Effect 4. Here's something interesting that I don't think many people notice, but we've had Mark Meir on our show before who does the Commander Shepard's voice. He also does a bunch of other voices in Mass Effect. Um, he was in London and he was at some sort of like I don't know, con or whatever you want to call it. And I saw that Mass Effect and BioWare and all these people tweeted out like, "Hey, go check out Mark Meir at this con." And I said, "Hey, I'm going to be with Mark Meir at a con in Canada here next month." and I said, "Can you guys put me in Mass Effect 4?" Wink, wink. And what was interesting was they replied from BioWare. NDA Canada replied literally, and they said this: um, "Never stop dreaming." No, something like, "Yeah, never stop dreaming because dreams can come true. Um, surprises are coming soon." Wink, wink.
That's interesting
So,
because I thought they weren't doing Mass Effect anymore.
well, no, I'm pretty sure they are. But in terms of that tweet back to me, it either means that I'm in Mass Effect 4 myself right here, or you can actually scan your face in 3D real time with the Kinect and put your face into games now. And I
Yeah.
think that next level of that's why I don't think they showed too much of Kinect at the press conference, because they want to keep this as a secret. And I think that if you played a lot of sports games, like Tiger Woods was one of the first games where you could scan a photo, or you could take a photo of your face and put it into the game,
Yeah.
and then it would do a decent job. So when you're online, you're playing as yourself. And I feel that every game that we're going to play, like sports games and these shooters, all of these games, I think we'd be able to put our actual faces into the games now. And I think that's really cool.
So you mean
Yeah.
I could see a video that you would do on the new Mass Effect potentially, and it would be Jason Sexy Shepherd. I
Exactly.
Wow.
Seriously, I wanna do some black ops for that. I wanna
mean,
And then
shoot right in the
Justin, and
face.
then Justin, you can put your face onto the girl that he has sex with.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if it's my face, it's my dog's face, or what,
Yeah.
we'll work with it. But and it's funny because I like the fact that you mentioned it, Jason, because I remember there was a game, I think it was Ghost Recon 2, that if you had the camera for Xbox, you could actually take a picture of your face and then your side. And I remember seeing my face on there, and I was like stoked just that I was like, I'm this soldier and I'm running around and it's my face. Albeit it made me look a little like I was balding because of the lighting and everything, but I thought that was pretty cool. And with all the technology that Connect 2 is doing and that it comes with the system, sorry, I could
Yeah.
totally see that
Yeah, it's going to
happening.
come with
So
the system. Yeah, that's
And
cool.
I'm excited.
I
I've never
think
had a
I think
Connect, so I don't
Microsoft.
know what it's going to be like. If it didn't come with the system, I don't know if I'd buy one. But since it's coming with it, I'm going to have it anyway. So hopefully, it's going to have some really cool technology that like Jason said, they're keeping a secret, and we don't know for sure exactly what it's going to be capable of doing. But
I think
that'll be
Microsoft
awesome.
has some tricks up their sleeve with this Connect. I mean, the thing is, they showed some of it at their reveal, but it's super powerful, and I think it has a tremendous amount of possibilities that can come along with it. That they're just, they're not limited now. Like I know with the regular Xbox, they said that they had to dumb down the Connect to even have it on there because they're limited with the hardware of it. So now they're not really limited. So I feel
Hmm.
like there's a lot of amazing things that can come from Connect.
See, and I think the whole backlash would be just kids who bought Connect and were really let down that it wasn't like 1-to-1 ratio, and the fact that you basically had to be standing up and it didn't work so well when you were sitting down, and sort of the fact the camera looked like shit doesn't
Yeah.
help. The fact that now you can literally use the camera at nighttime with no lights on, and it'll still be able to see how far you are from the television. It can read your heart rate. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So I know, like, these things that they show, they're not meant to be like, hey, it can read your heart rate, like we're going to use this in games. It's just showing you like the potential of where it could go. So
Yeah.
I think the potential's there. I don't think we're going to see a game that's going to be using our heart rate right off the bat. But I
No.
mean, the fact that like six people can now step in front of it and it's all 1-to-1 ratio, and it could actually see like all of us jumping at the same time and all the different pressure points that we're stepping down onto the ground and all that stuff. That truly is amazing. And I don't understand why so many people are like, oh my God, the Kinect, that's garbage. I don't want it. Like, don't you guys think the future of technology in general is going to be hands free and all
Oh,
voice
eventually,
activated?
yeah.
Oh
Eventually,
So I
yeah.
yeah.
mean, why is everyone shitting on Microsoft's introduced the future? I mean, I don't. If I want to come home and like turn on my television and not touch any controllers or look for a remote, or maybe even eventually turn on the lights in my house when I walk in, again, in the future, I don't want to go look for buttons and all that weird stuff. In the future, you just want to get in your car and go, hey, it's me, turn on. And the car turns on and you
Well,
go.
And what's awesome is like they showed it off. Like you walk in your room and you say Xbox on, boom, it comes on. Xbox TV, boom, it goes to TV.
I
Like
know.
that
What
to me is
the thing
awesome.
is, like, if you actually take these people individually, the ones that are all whiny, and you put them in a corner and you say like, hey, would you want to be able to walk in the room and turn the system on like that by just saying Xbox? Okay, yes, you like that feature. Okay, you just keep going. Oh, do you like the feature that lets you play in the dark, sitting down? Okay, you like that. Okay, so what's the big deal here? I think
Yeah, I don't
people just
understand it either.
I
Well,
just think it's like because there's two audiences that Microsoft want to capture this time around, and I don't think they pushed the hardcore audience enough with that reveal. And I think at E3 it's going to be like a full tilt hardcore show, and I don't think they're gonna hold back. I think they're gonna show us some Halo 5 footage. I think they're going to reveal a new rare game, which they've already hinted at. If you
Yeah.
look at some of the stills of the close-ups, you can see the rare symbol. I think we're going to see Crackdown 3 as an exclusive. But let's get your opinion on this. I seriously think that all of the new IPs that they introduced, they're going to take some time for us to get used to them. So they're going to look at the past and go, okay, what can we bring that's not Halo or Gears? And I think Mike and we can only come up with a few different answers for that. But I either think that they've bought the rights for 6 months to a next gen Red Dead Redemption, or um, it's either Red Dead Redemption or some sort of port of GTA 5 next gen only exclusive there. Or I mean, what else do you think it could be? It's got to be something that they've got. Um,
Well,
they
we
need.
know they have Call of Duty locked in the bag. That's not even a question.
Yeah, but
That's locked in. But you're
that's
talking about
they've
other
always had
games.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've had that for a while.
In the past they've paid to have Grand Theft Auto exclusive on the system. So why couldn't they do that again? People are saying like, "Oh, they're not going to do that." And then you have to ask yourself, "Well, why was Grand Theft Auto delayed?" You know what
Grand
I
Theft
mean?
Auto
yeah.
was probably delayed for what you're saying. It's probably going to be on next gen. That's probably the reason it was delayed. I don't see any other reason to delay it as long as it was delayed.
No. So it's like it's Red Dead Redemption. It's something big that we're not thinking about as gamers, and it's a sequel or a third or
Also,
fourth. Like it's
Destiny still doesn't have a release date. That's another possibility there.
as an
But
exclusive, but
but then
it's
again,
multi-plat.
they're going to be at the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3 E3 thing, so I don't think that's a possibility. But yeah, like you said, Red Dead, GTA, but I think you can pre-order, or the GTA said that you can get it on other consoles.
No, see, that's the thing that people are. Whenever I bring that up, I'm talking about next generation, an exclusive on next
Oh,
generation
next
system.
generation only.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like it's this generation all over the place, but next gen, if you want to get it on next gen, you can only get it on Xbox One. And I could see Microsoft paying that amount of money to get it
Oh yeah.
only there and
Oh
not
yeah,
PS4.
Well, they
And
did
totally.
say they
that's a
did say
big
they have
seller.
15. Did they say they have
Microsoft is
15
more
exclusive
aggressive when it comes to that sort of stuff.
or
Did
15?
you heard about the Mirror's Edge 2 rumor, right?
Yeah, of
Oh
Mm,
yeah.
course.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
Microsoft's more aggressive with it because people pay for Xbox Live. That's a huge amount of money coming in, and people don't understand it. If you have PlayStation, I don't think PlayStation gets a lot of big time exclusives or has the money to fork over for this because people don't pay for PlayStation Live. We'll call it every month or every 3 months or every year. And I think that's a big amount of money that they get in from that because they have a lot of users on Xbox Live.
Are there any
sorry.
rumors, or
I
is there anything about PlayStation's live, whatever? I mean, is
No,
there
absolutely nothing.
nothing?
Nothing.
Like as of right now, nobody knows nothing about that, and that's the thing that's kind of scaring people. But I also think that's what they're holding until E3 to be like, hey, we made something just as good as Xbox Live. Here it is. Because if Sony can come out with something like Xbox Live and it's the same price and it's the same features and it runs just as good and they've got good headsets and all that stuff, I have to be honest. I think PlayStation right now has the jump up because of all of the titles that they own. They have so much going on for them,
Yeah.
and so many first party developers making games like they could toss out a new God of War and it would be amazing. They could toss out a new Uncharted and it would be amazing. And we already know that would be amazing. It's the things about Microsoft that scare me. Like, do it like how interested are you really in a Halo 5? You know what? It's going to look amazing. It's going to be Master Chief, but come on, there's got to be something there. It's like, okay, Gears 4, is that going to be what we really want? Like, yes, we're over the whole chainsaw gun thing. Like, bring something new or
What about
bring
a
us
new
something
SOCOM Navy
exclusive.
SEALs? I used to love that game on PS2.
See, there
Uh,
you go. That's another thing. But there is one game. There's one game that hasn't been talked about, but we know they're working on it, and that is Fallout 4. And where is that going to fall onto? And then that's another major announcement at E3. Fallout 4, is that going to be an Xbox One exclusive? Because that,
I think Xbox has the money for it.
I feel that you have to look at the past, and Microsoft has dropped $50 million to get GTA 3 or GTA 4 on their system before PS3. So yeah, I think it's a huge possibility that
yeah.
they've dropped like $50 million to get one of these major titles. And again, if it's Red Dead Redemption or even Fallout 4, those are huge titles. And
Yeah.
I think that's, if I worked at Microsoft, that would be my job. I would go out there and get one of those titles.
Yeah, if they
And
get a
they
major
probably have.
title, another major title, and they have made some improvements to their chat system, it could be a game changer, no pun intended, for
The
Sony.
biggest
You know what I'm
the biggest
saying?
thing that keeps me from Sony's console is their their user interface, like their whole, their dashboard, and their lack of security. That is the only thing that keeps me from that console. I don't think their security system is like Xbox Live, because I talked about it before. Xbox Live, the longest it's been down, that I've had it for the past 5 years, was not too long ago. It was down for like a few hours, and that's the longest that I've ever seen it be down.
Yeah.
And with Sony's thing, it seems like they're down all the time, and it's like I don't. That's not cool to me. Like I understand it's free, and that's probably why they don't really care too much about it. But I mean,
I have a
Well,
feeling all that's
Xbox
going to
Live is
change,
not
though.
free.
oh, I know. I'm saying
Or sorry,
PlayStation.
PSN, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, PSN. I mean,
You
that's
know,
really the only thing keeping me from them. And Xbox's dashboard gets updated all the time. They get tons of apps all the time new.
see, but that's
And
a software company making, software on a PC console, home console, and Sony is just
Yeah.
an electronics company who's basically hiring people to come in there and create these things. And I think that, I talk to a lot of actual developers, and everything I've been hearing is that Sony has already started to go to the developers like 5 years ago and say, here's our plan for the system. Here's what do you want in the system? And I think that Microsoft is sort of standing back and knows that, Activision and all these huge companies will just bring their games to them. And that's another thing that I'm kind of worried about. I feel like the the next Xbox is not as powerful as the PlayStation 4 is. And I think in like 10 years time, we'll start to see that.
well, we see it with the 360 and PS3 now. I mean, the PlayStation, I think, besides the cell processor, is more powerful and has the
Yeah,
Blu-ray drive and everything like that.
but here's my question for you then. Why haven't we seen anything to really prove that? Like when there's a multi-plat game, here's Red Dead Redemption comes out for both systems, and the PS3 is supposed to have this cell processor that can do amazing things, yet the game comes out, looks like total shit compared to the Xbox version. Explain that one to me. So
Probably
again,
because the coding for the cell processor.
exactly, and my point is just because it's more powerful doesn't necessarily mean it's the best, but
Bingo.
I think
Yeah.
in terms of systems that they want to last for 15 or they're saying 15 years, I think that if it's more powerful and it's easier this time around, that's what I'm giving them the sort of the head start because they finally learned their lesson. They didn't make the stupid cell processor, which is impossible to use. Apparently, it's easier to make games on the PS4 than the Xbox One. I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, I
Did you
mean, I
did you
would
guys
think it's
see
easier
Woody's
for the
video?
Xbox.
Did you guys see Woody's video where he was talking about the comparison between PS4 and the Xbox One
From what he
from
said,
a
it
tech
seems like
standpoint?
it's pretty much even, except for the RAM, the type of RAM that's inside.
Yeah, it was a very interesting video. I wish that 'cause some of it was kind of over my head, as far as from a computer software kind of standpoint, I guess.
You guys watch Woody?
Yeah, I sub to him. Yeah, I watch him.
Sorry,
Yeah, you,
I don't watch Woody.
yeah, I don't either.
I think he's horrible.
But
I'll be
you know,
honest.
I
It's like
was gonna
watching paint dry.
I was gonna kind of throw this comment in there earlier when you were talking about the people not being warm to the 360 and also some people not being even warm to some of the PS4 stuff, and it's like I was talking to this about a guy at work, and I don't think everybody falls into this bracket, but I definitely feel that like this console generation has gone on longer than most people expected to. And people want change, but at the same time, I know that there's probably people that don't want change. They know how their system works now, how their used game stuff works, how their if their system is only it doesn't require only HDMI, this, that, and the other. And in general, just people sometimes are afraid of change
Hmm.
and are resistant to change. And so, like for the Xbox example and the online stuff and the way they're pushing forward, um, where you were saying that you think it's a good thing in with the Connect stuff, and I agree. I think it's just people don't know what to expect. It's Microsoft, I think, is kind of aiming towards the future and the future internet capabilities, bandwidth, and ideas, and it's not exactly here yet. So of course people are doubting. So I think it's just one of those things that I think ultimately when the systems come out, people will get to see how these things work and
Yeah.
fully get to be able to use them. I mean, how long have people been playing Xbox and PS3 and the Wii? It's been like what? Well, the Xbox and the PS3 has been like what, 6, 7 years now.
It's
I
almost
mean,
8 for
yeah,
Xbox, I
that's
think.
a long time.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's something else that I have to bring up. The fact that everyone doesn't realize that this is not the capabilities for the graphics. This is not like going from a game, or sorry, what was it? Super
Sega
Nintendo
yeah,
to 64. We're not literally going in that huge step.
yeah.
Look
The
at TNT.
graphics aren't the graphics aren't a huge step. I think what people don't realize is we're not going for a graphical step here. We're going for a more realistic approach to game design. So what I mean by that would be, say Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out. Yes, it's going to look really, 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 really good. But what we're not noticing that you will notice, but we don't know now because we haven't seen anything like it it's something that Microsoft's called like living gaming, and certain terms have been thrown around. Basically what I mean by this is if you go up to a tree and shoot the tree in Red Dead Redemption Part 2 on this next gen system, that bullet hole will stay there. And not only will it stay there, it will stay there for the life of you having that game. And not only stuff like that, they're talking about stuff like if you kill a horse or a cow, that cow will actually stay in that position and deteriorate, and then you'll see bones, and those bones will stay there, and vultures will show up. And I'm talking about like over months of playing the game. So back in the day when the 64 came out, if you killed somebody, their body would disappear within like 4 seconds and fade away.
Yeah.
And the whole problem was system memory because the memory wasn't there. Now we're looking at things where things will not disappear. So I think that people don't realize like a game like Destiny on next gen. It's rumored to be also it's apparently supposed to be like Minecraft as well. So the idea that Justin and I can go out on a little mission, go digging in the middle of this huge sand pit. We can create some sort of like tunnel system there and dig out some resources and then go back to our base, right?
Build
The
our
whole
gate statue.
Yeah, and build our gay statue.
Okay.
And the point is that we've made this hole in the ground that maybe some sort of creature is going to go into and live in there now. So when we go back there months from now, like, hey, let's go back there and continue the tunnel. Now there's going to be some freaking like spider living in the, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
crazy.
like more
It'd be really
simulation
awesome.
stuff,
It
more
would be
more
really
simulated
awesome if it was
situations that
all
actually
ever
stick.
evolving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
The
think that
idea
will
is that.
change gameplay as far as what you're talking about. That type of thing will change, at least not maybe a huge change, but I think it will change gameplay in a little
And,
See, that's the thing. So it's like it's you'll play games differently in the sense that if you're playing, say, Grand Theft Auto 6 and you own a house and you've bought a house, if it burns down, the idea is your house is gone now. You have to go and get another house. It's not a
Yeah.
video game anymore.
And
It's a
what
real game. Like
what's
it's
funny about you saying these things too is that that is actually the kind of vision that the Peter Molyneux had for Fable One back in the day.
yeah.
Peter Molyneux had that vision that if you plant a tree, it will grow, and it will grow, and in 10 years in the game go by, and now you've got a full grown tree, and you'll have kids, and they'll have kids, and you'll die, and their lineage will go. And I mean, they had this really grand scheme. Now, obviously, we didn't get that with Fable. We got escalated timelines and aging over within 5-6 hours, and because we don't have the tech to do that kind of stuff yet. But now we're
So now we
getting,
do.
yeah, we do, and so that's gonna be really cool, to
See,
see stuff like that.
The Sims.
The Sims, I don't think it's that,
The
you know.
Sims is an advanced game, but it's not to the degree that we're going to be seeing. So I also mean things like, if you can pop up any game in your mind here, we're talking about things like in Destiny that when you get shot on your body and now there's a dent in your armor, if you don't actually go to like a repair shop or repair it yourself, that dent will be there forever. Or if there's a crack in your visor and you don't go get it repaired, it gets bigger. Like things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you have to look, if you
Yeah.
put it on a long enough timeline, there's things that will actually hinder the game, and that's why the gameplay is going to change for us. I've also heard like rumors about like first person shooters and the ability that the guns will now jam. So imagine you're in a firefight and you're
That's
shooting, you're
pretty
shooting.
badass.
Yeah.
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 What I
And
want
all
to
of a
see
sudden,
is like, as far as like storylines, I want storylines where not only do I get to choose, but like there's no you only get three choices. I want to do what I want to do, and I want to have consequences for what I do. And I mean, that's kind of, I know it'll be hard to do, but
well, it's kind of
I want to,
Skyroomy.
but I mean, yeah, like that. But I want to have like, I want to be able to do whatever I want, and I want there to be a consequence for that, and I want something to happen because I did that in a negative or positive way, no matter what it is.
Where it changes the
Yeah.
outcome. Your
Like, let's
decisions
say I'm
change the
playing
outcome.
Borderlands 2, and at the end I decide, spoiler alert, I'm not going to kill the guy. What happens then? Or something like that, you know?
Hmm.
Or I want to kill this character, and something is going to happen because I killed that character. Something in the story is going to change because I killed that character.
Yeah, it's a good like. It's almost like in Red Dead Redemption when you go on all those missions to herd a bunch of like wild horses. Haven't you always been playing and wondered like, what if I just turned around and shot this lady in the head? Like, I'd fail
Nothing's
the
going to
mi-
happen.
I know I'd fail the mission. I'm like, but what if I decided to do that and something else totally happens and it's totally different experience than anybody else would have.
Yeah, and I
Um,
understand, they're doing, you can choose three different things. I want it to be unlimited choices that I make. I don't want to have, okay, you get to pick this, or this.
see, and
I
that's
want, I
see,
want, I can pick whatever I want.
See, that's what I think Destiny actually is. A lot of people are assuming it's just like a Mass Effect MMO and all this type of stuff, but I honestly think it is that type of game where there's an unlimited amount of things you can do,
Yeah.
and you can like dig, or you can go into space, or you can build a base in space or on land or underground. And I think you just form these clans, and the whole point of the game is to get more money and just build a bigger army, and you just fight each other, and
Destiny
then
honestly sounds like an awesome game, and
Yeah.
I think that there's unlimited possibilities for that game.
mhm.
And they did an interview where they said, the world, they want it to be like you said, it wants to be a living world. Like they don't even know what's going to happen in the world. Like
See, that's the
as
thing.
a
That's the
developer, they
thing.
don't even know what's going to happen.
See, and that's what they're talking about. There's in regard to like certain like bases or structures or I think it's a lot like Minecraft. If you put everybody that played Minecraft onto a gigantic server, the server would change every day. It would always be living. The buildings would be changing, getting remodeled. You'd go out with your friends, go hunting, and all of that stuff. And I think that's what we're going to see with Destiny: the ability to say we see somebody driving around in a car. We could either say, "Hey, let's try to build a car ourselves. Let's try to go do some work and gain some money," or let's just be assholes and try to take that car from that guy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think you could do. Hopefully you can do any of the above,
and
and
I
you
don't
can
want to.
play as a yeah. You know what I mean? Like And think of it in terms of Star Wars games. You know, we've always wanted to be like the good guy and the bad guy. I think in this next gen, they could make a really good online game like with Star Wars like that, where you can choose to be good or bad, and there's consequences for choosing both sides, and you know what I mean?
Kind of like a
This
Fable 3 in
exactly
that
like
vein. Like you know, you're a good king, and but all your people are sick and poor, or you're a bad king, but everyone is happy and has money and is
exactly.
fed. But a little bit more than that, like more in detail with that, I think would be awesome too.
Yeah. I mean, the reason the game's called Destiny is not by chance. The game is called Destiny because
Can
you
affect your
basically
future.
you
Make your own
make your own
destiny.
future. So if you want to just go around and help people out and not fulfill your own destiny, you can do that in the game. Or do you want to be somebody who owns a huge house or space station or underground base? Like it's totally up to you.
Um,
You just turn the game on and go play it.
have you played Borderlands 2, Jason?
Yes, of course.
Okay, the end of it. Now if anyone hasn't played this, spoil it. But when they show this thing blows up and you see all these different worlds with different vaults in them, right?
Hmm.
I want to see Borderlands 3, but I want it to be called Border Worlds. I want it to be like an MMO where you could go to all these different worlds with these different vaults, and each one have a unique story in them. And I want it to be a very huge, open, like space type game.
Hmm. Well, I'm pretty sure that you just named Destiny.
I mean, yeah, but I mean a Borderlands Destiny. Like
And
Yeah,
Destiny is going to be on Xbox, right?
it's going to
it'll
be
be
on
on
every
360.
system.
Yeah,
Every
every system. I already have them
See,
pre-ordered.
the thing is, I have a feeling that there's going to be certain things you can only do on next gen in Destiny, and I think if you're going to want to play Destiny, you're probably not going to want to play it on this generation
I think
because
almost any game, unless it's only made for that system, because right now all these developers they know how to code for these systems. They know how to make a game for these systems. The next
mhm.
gen, like the Call of Duty devs said, it's hard because we're trying to make a game as they're still making their console. So we gotta change our stuff as theirs changes as well. So I think these games, unless they're made only for that, will be best played on current consoles, at least this year.
No, I kind of disagree with that. I mean, if I'm going to play Call of Duty Ghosts, I'm going to play it on Xbox One. I'm not going
yeah.
to play it on.
I
Why
don't
would you?
think
I
the
don't know why you
new
would, but
titles will be available on regular Xbox.
well, I'm pretty sure Xbox Ghost, or sorry, Call of Duty Ghost is only on Xbox One
Yeah.
No, it's
I,
on
and
360 too.
PS4, or
It's
is
on
it?
yeah, it's on 360 and PlayStation 3
See,
as
that's the
well.
thing. Like, if it's
What
on
they're
both,
doing though,
I don't know. I'd want to play on next gen. I think.
well, what they're doing though is what they said is they're developing the game. They're not porting it. Is what they said. That they're making it specific for each console.
Hmm.
They have different networks in their developer team. That okay, this is the PlayStation 3 team. They're making it for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4. So you know the Xbox One is going to be good, but will it be better than the 360 since it's not ported? It's made for that system, all of them separately.
Well, I'm pretty sure that it has to be. I mean, that's kind of a rule of thumb. Like next generation needs to be better than the current one or it's not going to sell. So there's got to be something over there that's better. So even if it just plays the same and just looks better, then I still would want to play it over on Xbox One. I
Well,
mean,
the rumor about every game having dedicated servers on the Xbox One would be the biggest thing for me, at least. If that's true, I'm sold. Xbox One, done. But if it's just graphics, it's not really that
So
big a deal to me.
I missed out real quick because I had to leave for a second because Jessica was leaving. But I wanted to add something that you guys mentioned a minute ago, a while back, when you said like you wanted like what would happen if you shot like this old lady in the face or whatever, in Red Dead or whatever, and the
mm,
consequences. See, I think it'd be cool if you did something like that in a game, and then like down the road when you're playing the game, some guy comes up and he's like, "So I heard you shot my grandpappy and grandmommy."
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd be
dude,
cool too.
I think that
consequences.
yes,
Consequences,
consequence. Even if
exactly.
it's minor, even if it's something that's it's not even a huge consequence, you just run into a relative, or if you turned left on a road and did one thing and then that altered the path of someone else, it'd be cool. Takes a lot more computation power and try to programming for them to do all that. But with this power, like you said, if since they're not really, it doesn't seem like they're focusing. as much on graphics per se, but more what they can do with the tools they have and the graphics they have to do with. Sign me up. My tits are hard. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to
Yeah,
do it.
Let's
So,
say, for
you
instance,
know,
you needed, let's say, for instance, you needed directions later in the game from that old lady that you killed.
yeah,
And now
you
you can
killed
no
her.
longer get that
So,
information from her, and so that's changed the outcome.
so yeah, I think I don't know. I'm just fully fucking excited for next gen stuff. I mean, there's a lot of negativity going around about a lot of this, a lot of that, and me, I'm just like, come on, bring
You
it
know,
on. I'm
what
ready
I
to ride
don't
the
Yeah.
wave.
understand is this is kind of like, I think we might have talked about it before on the last podcast, but people are so upset over Xbox and that they didn't go after hardcore gamers, da 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 da. And but people are worried. They have to be worried about it, but the Xbox One will play games and it will play good. Like it'll look good, it'll be good. But why are people
Uh,
so
I, I
frustrated?
I think that anybody who actually says like anybody in their right mind that watched the, and I'm probably going to offend people here, but anybody that watched that and was like, I'm not buying it. I didn't see Halo 5. Like, get fucking real.
Yeah.
Like, what do you expect? Microsoft's not going to make all these huge announcements at E3 like 3 weeks down the line. First of all, why would Microsoft go, hey, let's show them all of our fucking top titles at this reveal thing? But wait a minute, isn't this supposed to just reveal the system and be like, oh, it does this, 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 and it plays games? Of course it plays games. If you
Yeah.
assume that the hardcore audience is going to be left behind, you've lost your mind because Microsoft knows, first and foremost, the only reason they still exist is because of a hardcore audience, because of
Yeah.
Halo, because of Gears. Do you think somebody, unless they're completely out of their goddamn minds, do you think they just went into the office one day 5 years ago and went, you know, let's not focus on games. Let's all make it let's make it television. That's the future.
Yeah, no, that's not what
Yeah.
happened.
I know, but my point is like all these people going online complaining they didn't see the hardcore game. It's 3 fucking
Yep.
weeks. You can't
Yep.
wait three
What
weeks to get your
what I
mind
think
blown. Like, shut the fuck up. It's an
Yeah.
amazing system.
what I think
Both of them are
Microsoft
amazing.
did was with that reveal, they revealed their console, they revealed their features to that console, what separates it from the other one, and that's it. I think they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They showed their system, which was one of
Exactly.
the biggest complaints on the PS4's, reveal, which to me still wasn't a big deal. I'll see it when I see it. I do care more about features and this and that, but it just goes to show that the community is really finicky. When they love you, they love you,
Um,
and when they hate you. And
yeah.
if you don't do things how they want you to do it, then you're
Well,
not worth a damn.
the
I'm
the
just the
thing
guy
is
that
this,
laughs.
like,
Go ahead.
the thing about like Justin and I kind of relate to each other in terms of like the fans and the reactions and the negativity because we,
Sexual.
well, that too. But I've been doing 3 kilobytes for like 4 years now, and I could tell you now that there's not one single video that I've made that made everybody happy. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
It's literally impossible. So if, I guess to give out some advice to anybody starting a channel, to get to 50,000 subs, you have to not focus on the people actually watching the show. You have to focus on yourself and what you're putting
Yes.
out there. So if you say I'm going to make a show to make the people happy, you can go that route, but I'll tell you in like 6 months you're going to be miserable because you're going to
Yes.
be talking about Grand Theft Auto 5 over and over and over and everyone's happy it's coming.
Yeah.
If you want to be yourself, that's going to be a more difficult thing to do. But in the long run, you're going to have fans that actually stick by you and listen to your opinions and
And you'll
listen
be
to
happier.
exactly
Yeah.
because I mean, there's days where I look at my channel and I'm just like, I don't give a shit. Even though like, you can call us whatever you want to call us big on YouTube now. I wouldn't even agree with that, but I don't, to be honest, I don't give a shit anymore. Like, I don't care how many people are watching. I care about the interactions between the people that
Do
either
watch.
agree or disagree. I don't care about the dickheads who want to be assholes on my, they're just going to get blocked and deleted from now on. And that's the end of that.
Yeah.
But again, some of the best advice I could give is do not start a channel because everyone else is doing it. Do not start a channel because you want to become famous. The only reason you're going to start a channel on here is if you have an opinion on something and you simply want to talk about it and be part of the community. That's the only way you can really be happy on YouTube. And you can ask Justin on this one.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
again, the haters on YouTube, you cannot please them. It's impossible. Like,
No.
I don't know. There's not one video. You guys could not come up with one topic that we could talk about in a video and everybody watched it, liked it. It's impossible.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Yeah. You
So
have to be
again, that's what,
thick-skinned.
yeah, that's why you never focus on yourself. Never say like, oh, I shouldn't say this because a lot of people are going to say no. You know what I mean?
I'm
Oh
Like,
just
yeah.
gonna laugh when E3 comes around and Microsoft is hardcore with all these amazing games and not even talk about any of the TV or anything else everyone else is bitching about.
no, there's no way they're going to go up there for 40 minutes and be like, so we showed you what the television does. Let's show you in detail now.
Yeah.
There's
No.
no way they do that. If
Well,
they,
I
if
think they announced that E3 is like E3. All they're doing is games, 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 games. That's all they're
yeah,
focusing
that,
on
and
E3,
that's what
That's what
E3 is.
E3 is
So,
about. Yes.
and I think they'll nail it. I think they'll do good.
you
I
know,
mean,
I just, it's just,
I want to reiterate what you said because, as you know, Jason, I've gone back and forth on my mentality on YouTube. I've been doing it for since 2006 with one channel that got shut down. I've stopped and restarted. It's been a long and bumpy road, but think I have finally in the last week or two finally just realized that I'm gonna make videos that I want to do that I'm just having fun with, and they might not even actually stick to being they might not actually stick to a schedule. They might not even actually stick to the same style. If I don't feel like it, fuck it. If I'm just wanting to have fun and make a different video, I'm gonna do it. The video I recently did that you were like, "What the hell is this?" As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to get. It's a contest video for this game, and you can win the soundtrack or you can win the game.
I just said
But
that to,
you know,
I just said that because I knew somebody would say it.
yeah, no, yeah. And the thing is, but my point is that I was already going to buy the game, and I actually, from what I've been told from one of their PR people, I'm already supposed to get the game. So what am I trying to say here is that I was actually really only doing it because I just thought it'd be fun to make a short video with pictures from around my town, and ultimately would just be fun. And I had a blast making it, and it really isn't about winning anything, and it's not about views on that video. It's just fun. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. I totally agree with what you're saying. Don't do it for because it's popular. Don't do it because it's what you think people want. If you're really going to stick to it, you got to do stuff that you're going to enjoy, ultimately enjoy, whether you're changing over time or not. Stick to what you like and stick to what what you want to do. And that's, yeah, as he said, that's the best advice you can really get. So
yeah.
Yeah.
thanks
It's
for
like
hearing that.
the
I've
video we
always
put out
believed in
on
that.
the video we
Yeah.
put out for the Xbox One last week has like over 5,000 dislikes.
No
Like,
shit.
and that's all because we said it looks fine to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's that if that's how YouTube's going to be, I don't even want to be part of it.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like thanks but no thanks. I'll go outside and hang out with my friends where, you could say your opinion without getting blasted. You know,
Yeah.
I also think like people think just because they're behind a computer that words don't mean anything. So
Yeah.
the problem is like I used to care so much about all the comments and people watching, and the problem is now I don't care about anything. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to because as soon as you care about something in that regard, somebody's going to really let you down, and
They're gonna
then
stab you,
exactly. So
basically.
Been
Yeah.
there, done that.
I think I talked. We were talking before on Twitter, Justin. We were talking with Transparency Pro
Yeah.
about the same thing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like we were talking about earlier. If you're not doing what you enjoy, to me, it's like, what is the point of doing it to begin with? Like,
Yes.
he's sexy, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We have multiple sessions at night.
so
Um,
basically, you guys have threesomes. Is that what I'm getting at here?
Uh, maybe, and that's up to us to
Hubba, hubba,
disclose later.
hubba.
No, he's a really good guy. I talk to him quite often. He kind of goes back and forth. I mean, like I said, I definitely know I have run the negative train sometimes because it gets to you. It really gets to you sometimes, especially when you put effort and work into your stuff and your content, and you're just like, oh, I mean, literally, YouTube surprises me sometimes. I make a video, I expect a lot of people to watch it. They don't. It drives me absolutely fucking nuts, and it makes me feel like I can never catch up in my already insane backlog of games I'm trying to just
Yeah, there's no
play.
sense in stressing yourself
Yeah,
out about it.
there is
Yeah.
no sense, and it's
And
weird
as far
actually.
as him, like, I would never ever play a game I did not enjoy just to have a video for it. I would
he
never.
Yeah.
he doesn't play games that he doesn't enjoy to for videos, but his biggest thing lately, his hurdle was getting over the fact that I think he feels every time he wants to play a game,
He has to make a video for it.
he needs to make covering it, and then not saying he doesn't and I again I'm trying to play games like Fuse, for example. I'm playing that right now. I don't think I'm going to do a video on it because I already know the general outlook that society gamers have on that game. I don't exactly agree with it so far, but I might do a video where I'm just discussing it and saying what this is what I think, and then, because I know ultimately if I put a video out for Fuse, people are just it is on a generic, it doesn't look that good train that everybody's going to comment and say those similar things. So I already could already predict what I would get if I made a review on that and said, put it in a more favorable light than what it's getting in the general public right now.
Yeah.
So I don't even feel like doing a video on it, like an actual review video. But I do feel like I could do a discussion about it and talk about it. So I'm starting to kind of look at YouTube like that as well. I'm going to pick and choose what I want to do, and I'm just going to have fun with it. For example, I haven't really told anybody this, but I'm going to start probably doing I'm not a big fan on Let's Plays, and I might do them occasionally, but actually I really think I'm going to start a series just like basically called blah blah, whatever the game is, adventures. And it's always going to be with open world games because open world games give you the ability to mess around, fuck around, have fun, go out, do whatever. And I'm just going to play these games for fun. I'm not going to be playing these
Yeah.
games and to show people how to beat them. I'm not going to be playing them to show them the story. If I go through story missions, cool. But ultimately, I'm going to be playing some open world games just to freaking have fun with them, record myself
Yeah.
playing,
And
and
that'll
just make
show
fun of
that'll
it.
show your individual experience in that
Yeah,
game.
I would
Yeah.
never do a Let's Play to show people how to play. Like, I did a Dead Space Let's Play. I had no fucking idea what I was doing. Like, I had never played a Dead Space game in my life. So it wasn't like I was trying to show people how to be good at the game because that was far from what I was doing.
No, yeah, but I mean, a lot of people. I think the main reason people put out Let's Plays is because they want the traffic for obviously the new because anytime a new game comes out, you see like on some of my channel feeds, you see it get flooded. It's like boom, here Dead Space 3 comes out, boom 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 boom, Dead Space Walkthrough Part 1, Dead Space Walkthrough Part 1, Dead Space Walkthrough Part 2, boom boom boom, and everybody's just trying to capitalize on this is a new game. People want to see the footage or see the whole game or see the
Yeah.
cutscenes, and I think that's why people get they get all excited about it. I don't want to go. I'm not really going down that route. Mine's more of a I want to fuck around with open world games and have an adventure with it and just have fun with it. And I might not, I might only have 3 episodes. I might have 20 episodes. It depends on if I'm having fun with it. And if I'm not, I stop.
Yeah.
There's no commitment, and I'm not doing it to get views for showing people. I'm just legitimately trying to have fun. So the overall idea behind all this and me spewing out constant crap is that I just feel like I'm changing on the way I'm dealing with YouTube, and I think it's for the better. I've actually noticed I've been a lot more positive lately. My girlfriend's noticed I've been more positive at work, just in general, and that's the way I like to
Yeah.
be. Positivity is the way I like to be.
Well,
So it's
especially,
good for me.
for all of us, we all spend a lot of time on YouTube,
Yeah.
obviously, and since it is a big part of our daily lives, and I'm a full-time YouTuber, don't have a job outside of YouTube, so if things aren't going well for me on YouTube, then things in my life aren't going well either because it has a huge impact on my daily routine as to how things are going, and so I have to positive. I have to stay. I have to keep having fun.
Always
Because the
have to.
moment that I stop
Never
having
go.
fun, then it's going to affect my job. It's going to affect the network. It's going to affect everything around me. So for me personally, it's definitely very important for me to have fun, and that's another thing. With the new channel revamp, it's got me real excited. I mean, I'm always, amped up about my job and the network and what we do here, but knowing that we're about to make some drastic changes in the next couple of days has got me also very excited about what the future holds for the network and our partners and how things are going. I'm looking forward to a steady upload schedule, or for me, like a work schedule, and hopefully it's going to allow me to have a little bit more time to actually just play my Xbox that I usually don't get much time to do. Jared and I play Xbox together on occasion, and he knows how busy I am, and I don't really have time to just turn on my Xbox and just have fun and just play the game. I'm always having to do something network related, so with this schedule, maybe it's going to free up a little bit of Joe time that I don't normally have, you know? And yeah, I'm all about, I totally agree with what you're saying, Justin. You know, do what you enjoy doing, and if the viewers follow, they follow. If they don't, they don't. But you're having fun, and you know, like you said, your girlfriend's going to appreciate you more. You know, she's going to see that you're happier. Your coworkers will see that, and it, you know, I'm totally in agreement with you on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's definitely good. I mean, even like we were going around taking pictures for this latest video I just made for this contest, and she's like, "So wait," she's like, "So you might get a review code for this, or you're definitely we're gonna get it anyway?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "So you just basically was like, you're just doing this for fun?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She just was like happy that I was just wanting to be creative,
Yeah.
just be creative and go have fun doing it. So that's what we did this morning before I got online, and I don't know why. I totally just have a different topic. I was wondering in my head about something, but yeah, I mean, I just think it's key, and I've battled it back and forth, and I know Jason has himself, and I know Transparency Pro has done it himself. It's gone back and forth, but I'm really trying to stay on this side and just stay here because
It's difficult.
it, it is
Yeah.
difficult, but I mean, and it's difficult more so for people that make a living off of YouTube. I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have a really good paying job where for what I do. So I don't.
So when are you inviting me over for dinner?
Fly me out to
uh,
Arizona.
just have to fly your happy ass out here, and then we'll go ghost hunting and have some deep
Oh,
sea
that
diving.
see, that'd be amazing. I've like, I deal with a shit ton of sponsors for the show, and I'm always telling them like, listen, one of you needs to give me like $5,000 so I can do this crazy YouTube thing. And they're like, what is it? And I've always wanted to just like get all of these huge YouTubers together, you know what I mean, in just one spot for like a week, or just hang out with you guys and stuff. And
Oh, that would be so awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
that
it's
sounds like a cool thing.
like Happy Console Gamer, myself, the Game Chasers, uh, like Justin and all these people. I keep saying like we should bring these personalities together and create this show. And it's not even video games. It's just like a show about us, and we hang out and do stuff, and it's like
So it's like the real world with YouTubers.
exactly. And
Yeah, precisely.
I
Real
keep
world
telling
YouTube
them that,
edition.
but uh, and I'm like this close to getting it done, but it's taken like 4 months of ridiculous work.
You know, that
But
sounds like that could blow up and be something
Well, it,
amazingly awesome.
if there is one person that I have no doubt can make things happen in his life, it is you, Jason. You have done so much
what are you
that
talking about?
come on, man, come on.
Like that time,
Oh,
that
oh,
time
I've
you were
got the
like, I killed 6 hookers, help
I,
me, and I was like,
I've
I can take care of the bodies.
I've only had the Deus Ex character on my show. I've only had. I mean, you've done a lot. I mean, and for being the size you guys are and how much effort you put into the show. I mean, you guys have come far, and I don't think even you guys don't get enough credit for what you guys put into the show, the effort, but I mean the people you get on there and everything, whether however you work your magic, you do it, and it's
I know what
commendable.
the whole
So
nine yards is.
I I just
Huh?
keep on
I know what
going,
the whole
man.
9 yards is.
Keep on
Thank you.
going.
The whole 9 yards?
Yeah, it's a belt of M60 ammunition. Yeah.
No, well,
I
it
don't
came
know.
from
That,
World War
yeah,
II.
What?
It
They're
came from
talking
World
about
War II.
fucking
It's a
guns. You
nine
Americans are
yard tray
crazy.
that they put
I
bullets
That's
in.
what
was
they're talking
Put
about.
the
I'm in
shell on the
Canada.
top
There's like
caps.
fucking donuts
And
outside and a
when they
beef.
said, when I was
You
coming
guys are
behind them,
talking
and
about
I gave them the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
M16s.
guys,
said,
guys, listen,
Yeah.
what?
guys, listen.
Kind of cool. Sorry. TNG, Jason, interrupt him.
go shoot us some coons. All right,
Listening to you talk
We were
about
making
guns.
fun of your whole gun craziness over there in the U.S.
Oh, Jason was watching a show. You guys have heard of the term "the whole 9 yards"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do any of you have any idea that that's a military term? That it came where it came
Yep.
from?
Nope.
A lot of people don't understand that that's
No, I know where
actually
it
how.
came from. Came
Uh,
from last night with my girlfriend.
I thought
You
you were
had
only
to
gonna.
bring it in
I
there.
thought you
I
were only
thought,
gonna use that line on me, you son
Yeah,
of
I
a
thought you were
bitch.
gonna say just.
God.
Sorry to cut you off.
nah, it's all right. So you were
Can I ask?
talking, like we were
Well,
talking a minute about Jason and his uh, success that he's had on his channel, and with having different uh, personalities, and like these people from these video game characters, and somewhat famous people or whatever. That's pretty cool. We hope to eventually have some success like that with a podcast. 'Cause I'm going to keep it going. Even back to the fun thing. I enjoy doing the podcast, even though we don't have a big audience yet, and
I am
hopefully some.
famous. What are you talking about?
Hopefully someday in the future we'll have a larger audience. We'll have some. We'll be able to have a little bit of clout where we can call on someone and say, "Hey, would you like to be on this show?" And they will be excited about being on because of what the show is and what the show is about. So hopefully we'll have that one day. But I'm thankful for what we do have now, and I'm thankful for you guys being on the show. And
how many
we
guns are you holding right now?
I
Just the
have. There
one
are
account.
5 guns in my house, I
That's
believe.
so. I can
You're not
understand in
talking about
certain
shooting
areas
people
in the
again, are you?
U.S. You live in an area obviously where you like to go hunting, and I can understand hunting and why it's fun and why it's a sport and stuff like that. But
Uh huh.
I have to ask you as an American, if you live in like central, say New York on the island, do you need to have 5 guns in your house there?
Yeah.
Um,
Compton,
there
yes.
are probably people who do. I'm not really a big gun fanatic or anything. When I was younger, I used to hunt. I used to like hunting and outdoor stuff and all that. And being an Army veteran, I do like guns, but
Hmm.
um,
So we
I'm
can
not.
ask you why? Like, why do you like guns? I don't because like in Canada, all we have with guns would be hunting, and that would be like 7 hours north from here. So
Yeah.
if like the thing is like I'm still baffled, and I still
The
trying to
guns that I
understand.
have, the guns that I have, were actually all given to me. I didn't buy any of them, and they've been handed down to me, throughout my life. So if
Oh,
I
so it's
didn't
like
have them now,
family like
I
heirloom.
probably wouldn't even own any. And because I just can't really see myself getting up several $100s and going down to the gun shop and buying a gun. It's just not really me. I
Well,
have them only because they're here. I already have them,
I have I have a question now. So for you, Jason, because of this. So do you view like America as like this big gun freak country? I'm just curious because
Yeah,
the reason I
actually, I
ask.
do. But
Okay. Well, the reason I asked is because, one of my UK friends is similar. He's like, oh, I don't know if I'd ever go to the US because of guns and this and that. And I do find it fascinating in
Oh,
a
I
way
do too.
because like personally here, like where I live, I mean, there's thousands of people that do not carry guns in the U.S. and don't use them, don't even own any.
Yeah.
But I will admit that the news has a stigma that
Mhm.
they promote, like that the U.S. is a heavy guns, et cetera. And the reason I find it just fascinating is because it's very much like when I went to Afghanistan and worked overseas. I went through a small town on a convoy, and I was always thought, just from the news that you know Afghanistan's are, terrible. They don't like Americans, blah, blah, blah. And I get over there and we're going through the city and there's these people waving at the military and waving at us and they're smiling and they're all happy, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, whoa, these people, they're just like me. They're just living their life and farming and this and all that. And it's the media that is placing basically all the attention on
mhm.
the terrorists and basically like the gangs over there. And I had interactions with some of the locals because they actually hired them, some locals, to work as like either janitorial or this or that. They actually provide source of income for local the national locals there, and the local nationals. And so it kind of, for me, it was a very interesting viewpoint on that country because it just, as I got to see a lot of people over there, and they don't all hate us, that it's not like just one-sided thing. And the only reason I mention that is because, again, I've heard a couple of different people that don't live in the U.S. They're like, I don't know if I'd like to go to the U.S. because everybody
Well,
likes
dude,
guns and
Yeah, but it's
you
not
know,
like the people who own guns and own them legally through the process that it takes to get a gun. Those aren't the people that you have to worry about with
No, yeah,
guns. Like
no,
those aren't the type of people that you have to worry about. You have to worry
yeah,
about the people that get it illegally.
no,
Those
no,
are the people that you
and
have to worry
well,
and
about.
it's
I
not
understand.
like, yeah, it's
I
not
kind
like
of
I'm
wish we
sitting
didn't have
here
so
and
many
I'm thinking like
guns.
Joe's some sort of gun nut.
No,
Like,
no, yeah,
you know
Nah,
what I mean? But
totally not. You know, I kind of wish we didn't have so many guns. I'm totally okay with the gun regulation. I hope that someday that things do change and they are able to try to regulate them. The bad thing is though is that the criminals have them and they always will. They'll always figure out a way to have them.
Yeah,
yeah,
One
it
thing
doesn't
about
matter what
Canada,
laws they make.
I don't know much about Canada, but I know this. I don't ever hear anything bad on the news about some shit going on in Canada. It seems very quiet down
well,
here on
the
our
thing is like
television, anyways.
right now to live in Canada and look at the U.S., the sort of picture that's been painted is like right now you guys are in shit because you owe a lot of money. You're all fucking worried about terrorism. Everybody has a gun, and everyone's like has their hand on the gun. So it's not even like a state or anywhere you don't want to go anywhere in the U.S. right now. It makes it like the media makes it seem like the
No, that's
U.S.
not it at all.
Yeah.
See,
Don't
that's
get
the
me
thing.
wrong.
Like,
There's
no,
certain parts.
I was
Yeah,
just in,
but
I was
it's
at a
not too far
taxi.
from the truth, though. I mean, when you turn on the
See, but
television here and the news, they should just call it bad news because the only damn thing you see on the news when you turn the television on is bad.
Plus, they
People
blow it
getting
up to make it
killed,
seem a lot worse than it
no,
is.
and
see,
all
but
that.
here's the thing I want to bring up, and like again, I'm just stating my opinions. I was just in Boston at PAX East, and I was literally, and I mean literally, standing in that same spot where those bombs went off. And I don't know, there's just like a comfort for me to know that when I come back to Canada, the chances of that are they're
Remote.
not there at
Yeah.
all. And you got to question why is that? Why can your government let that stuff get past them? You know what I mean? And it's like in Canada, yes, there's terrorism. I'm not gonna. You don't see this on the news, but let's see here. Probably about 4 years ago, after 9/11, I think it was after 9/11. Yeah, actually, it was after 9/11. There was like, I'm in Toronto, and there's a city next to us called Brampton, and there was like 17 terrorists that were found in a house just randomly planning to blow up the CN Tower here in Toronto. So it's like,
I remember hearing about that.
yeah, so it's like it does happen here, but it's not like there's no extremists, and if there are, they're all
I think the
together.
problem
You know
is
what I
a
mean?
lot
Like,
a lot of countries and a lot of people hate America, and I think that's really the biggest
well, you
problem.
got to
I
ask
don't
yourself
see.
if at all to like even go to the fucking corner store. Like, there's school shootings, there's bombings, there's like anywhere you go, you can be killed outside of your house right now, or people can even come in your house and murder you. So it's like everybody has a gun, everyone wants to kill each other, and it's like you see it on the media, and you're like, I don't want to go there, and then the people living there, they don't want to go outside. You're like, why would I want to go outside
It
now?
really, like I said, it really all depends on where you live. Like where I live, I really don't have to worry about that, like hardly at all. But if I was to move to like LA or
Yeah, it's certain.
See,
LA
see, but
general
that's
area or
like,
like 40 minutes away from me, I might have to worry if depends on where I live in that part of
yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, I have to bring this up. When I was standing at Cheers in Boston and like talking to the locals, first thing I noticed was Boston was the cleanest city I've ever seen. And prior to coming there, I thought the U.S. was mostly like dirty, like Toronto was, but it was like Toronto's actually dirtier than Boston.
Hmm.
Boston was like freaking, you could eat off the ground, literally. It was unbelievable. And then the people were amazing. Everyone in Boston was amazing. And I thought like, okay, this is the U.S. I'm not seeing any of these gun nuts anywhere here. Like, what the media makes it sound like everybody's gun
Yeah,
nuts and all.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then I
that's not
start
true at all.
see, but the thing that made me a little uneasy, and it can happen in Canada, is that you have the rights to conceal weapons in the states, correct?
Yeah, if you
So
get
So
yeah, if you
certain
get
states
approved.
depends
yeah.
on the state, but yeah,
Yeah.
so when I was walking around, I was thinking like, I all of a sudden I thought, maybe like 100 of these people I just walked by have guns on them, and I
Oh,
thought to myself,
they probably don't. Probably one out of those
Yeah.
100 probably
I
has
mean,
a gun
I
on
mean,
him.
see, but
because
the question is, yes, maybe one does, but that still doesn't. I still don't know if that's true or not. So me coming into the U.S. was a little unnerving because, put it this way, if there was,
intimidating. Yeah.
yeah, if there was a person outside of my house and I saw him with a gun, I swear to God there would be no less than 20 cop cars here within 2 minutes, and that guy would be in shit.
Well,
Like
well, I
Yeah.
mean,
serious shit. He would be like, so that's the difference between here and there is like I could walk outside and the chances of me coming across somebody who has a concealed weapon are like slim to none. I would have to search the whole
well,
city until I found
Well,
like a
I mean,
talking
suspect.
about that,
think of like all the like you said, the shootings we've had at schools, the shootings we've had at the movie theaters,
It's all the media.
the different things we've had. Yeah, it's the media. But also think about this: if say there was that group of people that were in the theater and that one guy started opening fire, do you think if somebody had a gun in there, they would have tried to fire back and actually take him out? You never hear about
Yeah.
that. You never hear about
there
somebody
is
who's
one guy
randomly
though.
pulling a gun out and shooting
Yeah,
shooting the
like yeah,
perpetrator.
you don't hear
If
about people that have like concealed permits and they just decide, you know what, I want to kill every motherfucker in this place. It doesn't happen. But
if
there was a one story about an old guy that was, I think it was a library, a public library or some public place.
You're getting major feedback there, dude.
Me?
Oh, that's gone.
Okay. And it was an old guy. He was in the
Oh, it's
back.
back. Anyone else hearing that?
No, I don't
No,
hear it.
right?
Nope.
Maybe I'm
Okay.
just.
Ghost.
I can tell you this:
No,
if you guys were with me out in public, and I was a licensed concealed gun carrier, and somebody went off on us, or if there was something, where somebody pulled a gun and started shooting people, I am that guy you want to be with at that particular moment.
Yeah, yeah. And
Because
and that was my point.
cause,
That's my point with what I'm saying is that like the reason nobody usually pulls a gun out to take out the person that's killing people at the schools or at the college is because people don't carry gun. Most
yeah, they
people
don't
do
carry it like
not
you guys
carry
do.
guns.
yeah,
It is. I mean, it's just like that incident not too long ago in the UK where they hit that guy and they chopped his head off. I mean, I I'm not going to go to the UK and expect somebody to chop my head off. I'm not, that was crazy and very unfortunate that had to occur. But I'm not going to think that
No, I
that's
get it
what's going to
now,
happen.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
but
It's
I
not
mean
as
that's the
common
thing.
as the media makes it out to be.
It
It's
isn't
not
at
that
all.
common.
That's why I asked you, Jason, because you're from Canada, and I've known people from outside the states that are saying I don't know if I'd go over there because I'm intimidated, and I understand why, but I was just curious if even you felt that, and obviously yeah you did,
no, I
even
feel
being over
like,
here.
there's people that it's like some of our fans that I talk to, and like, and it's amazes me like how interested they are in guns and how many guns like a 19-year-old owns or his dad has guns, and there's like not just one gun to protect the family, like 15
Yeah,
guns,
like a ton.
and it's
Some
like,
people, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, some people are like collectors of guns.
no,
Like
I get that.
there are a lot of collectors.
I totally understand that because it's just like any other hobby to collect guns. But I mean, I'm talking about people who like will take those guns to firing ranges to shoot them to
Just
like.
obsessively, like they
Yeah,
just
there
it's
are
just
those
Yeah.
people. That's probably like not even
You
1%
want to hear
of the
something funny?
population.
So
About
just
What?
about 150 yards from where I sit at this moment, there is an indoor gun range.
mm,
But it's not
Um,
it's not opened anymore. They don't use it anymore. But it's a gun. It's a sporting good or not sporting. It's a gun shop, and it does have an indoor firing range. I've never been in there. I've lived in this town like 7 years, and I've never actually been inside the doors of the establishment. But it's less than 150 yards from where I sit right now.
back to
see,
what I was
I
gonna
just like,
say. Like before, there was an old guy. He was in this library. These two kids came in. They were probably young, I'm guessing. I think, and they came in and they started having people kneel. And I don't know if they were gonna kill them, what they were gonna do. But this old guy was in the back. He had a concealed weapons permit and he had a gun on him. And he came out, and as soon as that guy went to go put like the gun towards the people, he started shooting them. He shot one of them in the leg and the other one in the arm, and they ran out and they were gone. But the question is, if that guy didn't have that gun and he didn't have that concealed weapons permit, what would have happened that day?
Well, and that's a good point. And then here's an even one to add on to that. Situations like that, situations where people are dealt with before it gets taken out of hand and people do respond, don't get the media coverage.
No, I didn't
The
even
ones
hear nothing about it until like recently, and it happened a
Yeah.
while back.
Yes. So
You
that's
don't
the
hear
other thing.
about the good
Media
stuff.
covers, media doesn't talk about that kind of stuff. They talk about the really bad shit and don't talk about when people do good deeds and actually protect us. It's not as popular to push that story around than it is
Yeah.
the other one.
See, the
Yeah.
other thing I have to bring up, if you've seen, like, obviously Micah Moore came over to Canada in his documentary and was, like, walking around just opening people's doors. There's literally, if I walked in up and down the street here and went to 100 houses, I'm pretty sure, like, 99% of them, I could just walk inside and be like, oh, sorry, wrong house. And people would be like, oh, it's okay. Like, I don't know where the difference happened. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why so many people in the States are, sorry, I do understand why they feel like they need to have a gun now, more than ever. And I just think,
I think it
I,
was after 9/11 is when people really started buying guns more.
yeah, exactly. And I feel sorry for the people who don't want to live like that, but live in the U.S. Like, to me, living in Canada, again, like I said, we don't lock our door here. Like, it's insane to say that, but there's like a park up the road here with literally thousands of dollars of toys where I guess the whole neighborhood just bought all these toys and let the kids bring them to the park, and they leave them at the park. And I mean, like, thousands of dollars of toys are in this park up the street here.
And no
And it's
one
like, dude,
takes them home with them. They just
no,
leave them at the park
nobody.
for everybody to play.
Exactly. It's
That's
like
cool.
it's just sitting there, and I walk by, and even me from like a small town, I look at it and go, "How the shit does this happen? Like, who's watching it?" And then you realize nobody's watching it, and they just leave it there. And
Yeah.
a lot of the mentality of the old people here, believe it or not, are if if somebody's going to steal my bike or steal something, then they must have really needed it more than I needed it. Isn't
Yeah.
that a
I've
weird
I've
way to
heard.
think about
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I've met people and know people that feel the same way. Yeah.
Like if
There's not
somebody's
that
going to
much
break,
crime. There's not that much crime in the town that I live in. It's like I said before. I think we have 5,500 people here. If I had to guess about how many people in this town have a concealed handgun license, maybe 10%. Not a whole lot, but there probably are a high percentage of people here who have shotguns or rifles in their closet that have been handed down to them by their families, kind of like I do,
yeah.
that didn't necessarily go out and buy the guns, and they just kind of sit in the closet. Like mine, they don't even see the light of day. I don't take them out, do anything with them, but they're here. I do have a shotgun nearby, the one I shot the gophers with, and that is home security. If something should happen, it's loaded and it's within arm's reach. Um, but the other ones,
Mine.
they stay below the stairs, covered up, and I don't ever use them. But there's really not that much crime here where I live right now. A lot of people do leave their doors unlocked. Kids leave their bicycles out in the front yard, and
Yeah,
stuff
see,
like
like in a
that.
small, I feel like small town USA is where you'd want to live. It's like I go into the major cities, like in New York, it was scary because I was carrying a fucking camera on a tripod that looked like a gun. And we were walking around New York, and I had like people looking at me. I had when we went down into the subway, there was like announcements saying like the port authority could check your bags at any moment and you could be arrested for no reason. And it was like an actual message that said that.
Hmm.
And I was like, I couldn't believe that they could literally grab you, take you somewhere, open your bag, look in it, and be like, okay, you're fine. It just felt a little too much. And I felt like, obviously, the people of New York have been through a lot, but it was almost like the certain people just don't want to let that go to the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about letting it go to the past. I think
They're all
it's like
on high alert,
if
more or
if
less.
you
Yeah, it
think
was.
about if you think about the Boston Marathon, if they searched every single one of those persons' bags who were allowed into that marathon, would it have changed what happened that day? We obviously don't know, but the lack of security for that was obviously a problem, and it's like those kinds of things make people question, okay, should we start searching everyone's bags when they go to these events? Should we start searching them up and down every day or every event after that? And I think that's what happened, after 9/11. I mean, airport security went up. I mean, all kinds of, you can't even have cans that are bigger than a certain amount or have a certain amount of stuff in it on
No, I know.
on an airplane.
When we
No.
when we
You
went
know?
when we went up the Empire State Building, they literally took everything except the camera and the lens. And they made me take the battery out and the lens off the camera to make sure it was not a concealed gun. Like
Yeah, that it was
they
a
wanted to make
functioning
sure.
device.
Yeah, they literally wanted to make sure that the microphone was not a gun. And that's what he
Yeah.
said to me, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's if people are so fucked up that they want to make a gun out of you know what I mean? Then those people are going to do that regardless.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you just got to balance it out because it's affecting the way I feel that some of the fans that watch a show in the US have to deal with life. Like again, like I said in Canada, if I like just walked into a field and held a gun up in the air, you have no idea what would happen. Like I'm not saying like the police are pussies here. I'm saying that like when stuff like that happens, the police are there in like 2 seconds flat, and they'll shoot you right in the face if they think that you're going to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
That's so it's a different kind of because like we don't get to carry. I don't get to get a gun and walk outside here. So but here's the thing. I don't feel like I'm in danger because we have a police force that will come and save the day, hopefully. And maybe they
Yeah.
won't, maybe they will. But my point is, in the US, everybody's their own security. And that's what I don't know if it's a system that works, and I don't know if it will ever work or it doesn't work. My opinion is it seems to not work so well. I mean, so many
Yeah.
people are being killed by guns. And in Canada here,
But the difference is
uh,
taking those
I don't
guns
know.
away isn't going to change anything either. Taking the guns
Well,
away from the people who
well,
get them
hang on a second.
legally
If
and
it,
use them legally.
Yeah, but that's a bull. Everyone says that to me every time I say, "Well, just take guns out of the hands of everybody in the U.S." and they go, "Well, everyone will find a way." To me, that's a bullshit excuse because eventually, maybe not in our lifetime, but eventually in some lifetime after this, hopefully there will be no guns and it will just be like Canada, and then you'll know what it feels like to go outside and not worry.
I've made that
That's my
argument
point.
before. That's a good point you just made. When the whole gun
Sorry,
control thing really came about not long ago, when it really got to be a popular topic all over the news and everything, and I was all for it. I was like, yeah, they should just not allow anyone to have guns. Now, sure, they're not going to be able to knock on everybody's door, go into their homes, and physically remove their guns. That's fine. Let them keep the guns they already got, but let's not produce any more. Let's not allow anybody to go out and buy new guns. Now, sure, people will still have the guns that they already have, but generations from now, eventually those guns will break. They'll get lost. They'll get whatever. Something will happen to them. They'll, and eventually, sometime in someone's lifetime, those guns would whittle down into a very small amount and hopefully into nothing at all. So yeah, it would take decades upon decades or even maybe 100 years for it to happen. But if you stopped producing guns and allowing the general public to have access to them, where it was just completely against the law to own or carry or handle a gun, period, eventually at some point, ma- just from mathematics in general, it would have to happen. Eventually, there would be no more guns in the hands of citizens.
See,
They'd
but
be only
I
available to
also
military and police force.
see, yeah, well, that's like it is in Canada. Like, if I want to get a gun for hunting, I can go and do that. I can carry it in my car. I cannot carry it in public. Like, I can't just walk down the road with my rifle to go hunting.
You
You
can
have
here.
to put it. See, and that's there's certain lines that are starting to blur to me, but I feel like if you guys want to have guns in your house to protect your family, by all means, you should be able to have at least 2 to 3 guns in your house and protect your family. So anyone comes on your property with a gun, you blow them away. That's fine with me. They come in your house, they threaten your family, you have your protection. That's fine with me.
Hmm.
I don't like the idea of like anybody can just go and get a license, and then the problem with that is those guns that are always used in all these huge problems in the US, those people don't have licenses, so they're stealing the guns from those houses, or they're stealing it from their
Yeah.
father, or they're
Or they're
stealing
buying
it.
them from somebody on the street.
Or, exactly, and that's where it needs to be cut down, not in the household, because that's where it needs to stay. I feel like, again, you shouldn't be able to walk around with a gun in your pocket
Yeah.
anywhere in the world. I don't think humans should have the ability to have some sort of weapon or anything in their hand that can just kill somebody with one little click. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to me. And that's, to me, just does not make sense. And then people are going to argue, well, you can get in a car and run people over. But my argument is always going back to the same thing. The car was not designed to kill something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The gun is designed to kill, and that is it. So, again, a knife is also designed to kill, and you can carry that around. That's a safe tool. Why don't people carry those opposed to guns? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't. I
Like,
just think that I'll be honest right now. I think it's like all of the old people in the U.S. are tied to the old rules of the old U.S. And this new generation is coming up right now with the internet, and we're getting to know each other. And you're not just talking to your neighbor; you're talking to somebody in L.A. You're talking to somebody in the U.K. And I think kids are just starting to smarten up in the U.S. and realize like guns are not the answer to to protect yourself, because it's just causing more problems than it is anything else.
yeah,
So
they,
it,
they
it's
do.
it's it's definitely interesting to see on my side of the border over here the way that kids handle that stuff in the U.S. So I like to like talking to certain fans, because some fans are just say they're like terrified of guns in the U.S. and they don't even want to own one. They don't see the point of it. But then again, I see the other side to it, where there's like somebody who has like six guns, who's just turned 20 and got like a fucking sniper rifle worth $3,000, and they're showing me photos of a sniper rifle they bought. Instead of them going to college or putting it towards something that useful, they bought a $3,000 sniper rifle to go to the range to shoot that.
Yeah.
Now,
I would never spend that kind of money.
There's
well, let me
no
ask
other need for a gun like that.
exactly. So let me ask
In
you
stores
this.
they have to politically correct. They have to call them target rifles because a
It's
sniper
ridiculous.
rifle is actually a military term. But
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
I
you
got to
take a
ask you
gun that
this.
can shoot long ranges, and there's no practical use for that. You're not going to go shoot squirrels with it, obviously, and so by the only thing you could do with it legally is take it to a range and shoot targets, but
Yeah,
that
that's the
leads
thing.
to shooting
That's what
people.
they're doing with it. But the thing I have to ask you is, where did that kid get the idea it would be cool to buy a $3,000 sniper rifle?
Call of Duty, probably.
See, see, I have to be honest, that's the number one thing that I would think as well. Obviously, this kid played a Call of Duty game and was like, oh, sniper rifles are cool. You can kill shit from a distance, and it takes a
Yeah.
certain skill level. So that's why I'm going to go spend this money and figure it out.
I'm just saying, I
He's going to
love
give
But
sniper
himself
in
rifles.
black
that
eyes
sense,
trying to quick scope.
I would never spend $3,000 to
Can
buy
you
a sniper
imagine trying
rifle.
to quick
see,
scope with a real
I
sniper
think
rifle? Bam! Punching yourself in the eyeball with the scope.
see, the problem for me is people say like video games don't promote violence, right? And like buying a sniper rifle and going to the thing and shooting it is not technically violence. It's whatever you want to call it. But the people who say that it does not happen are ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
game
I don't
people are
see
saying
anything
like,
wrong with shooting a gun at a range or something like
Is
that.
that if
But
as long as it
but
doesn't go past that,
but
it's
it
fine.
becomes a problem when you spend your life earnings or savings at 19.
see, we got to look at this. I gotta ask you guys this question. FPS Russia, who's not even Russian first
Kyle
of all, but
Mars.
anyways,
Kyle Myers.
he he
Yeah.
he's famous because all of these US people just want to see him shoot a fucking gun. That is the only reason he's famous now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's, to me, watching a show on YouTube about guns and knowing 12, 13, 14-year-olds are watching that because they just play Call of Duty. Now they want to see what the real gun can do. That's interesting, but I can't believe how big that guy got because he fires a gun. And it's like, I still don't know the answer to this. What is it about firing a gun that's so amazing? Like, what is it?
I think it's only because he blows shit up when he does it. Shooting a gun is just watching a video of somebody. If it just showed them in the camera and they held a 9mm pistol and the camera didn't show anything but them holding the gun and firing it. That doesn't do anything for me. But if they show downrange where those bullets are impacting something and it blowing up, that's kind of cool, you know. Another thing about Kyle's channel or FPS Russ's channel is
I'll be
it's
right back.
kind of based off of Call of Duty, even though he's just shooting guns because he's using the guns a lot of times that you see in the video game, and so that's
Well,
kind of like the
he's brilliant.
unintentional, you
I
know.
mean, that's brilliant marketing.
Yeah, and did you know I've actually read up a lot about him, and his family is in the gun making business. They actually have a firearms company, and they own a lot of property. And on his property is where all that takes place. And his
Yeah,
father
I know.
and his family, yeah, they make guns and all that. Also, his manager was actually killed or found dead on their property, and there's an investigation. Not long ago, the ATF went and raided his property, and they did not seize any weapons, and they did not find anything uh, that criminally.
Yeah, I heard about that. Why, like, and he was killed in a certain way too. It wasn't just like he was mistakenly shot or
Yeah,
walked somewhere
they
he shouldn't.
suspect
It was
foul
like,
play. There's still an ongoing investigation, to my knowledge. Yeah, it's kind of strange. And that guy apparently was a very close friend of him and the family. He's his manager and the one responsible for getting him a lot of this really expensive stuff that he shoots some of his videos with. It's kind of like the
yeah,
guy
that.
that, his connection, with a lot of stuff for, his
Well,
production.
you know what? This it's not the same as guns, but the bigger that like 3 kilobytes gets, the more emails I get every day from some company saying like, "Hey, will you make a video on this? We'll give you like $100." Or it's, I think it relates to everything. If you get to a certain degree, then you'll find that stuff anyways. You know what I mean?
So,
Yep.
so you're getting a lot of opportunities. People want to pay you money to do something that you'd probably do anyway.
No, that's the thing about YouTube. That's, I guess, I get asked basically once per day about some video somebody wants made about something, and if I do it, I get paid to do it.
Hmm.
Just that one video, and I think that like when you get to a certain level, that's all you do,
Yeah.
and then they make a lot of money. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but
It does. That's kind of the ultimate goal for most people on YouTube. I think the underlying, maybe not what a lot of people would admit, but I think in some instances, every 15-year-old kid or whatever that gets on YouTube, he wants to be famous. He wants to be well known. He wants to make a lot of money on YouTube. He wants to do YouTube for a living. So he thinks at that age where he has a lot of growing up to do, and probably someday will just get a regular job like everybody else or go to college. But I think a lot of them see it as the YouTube dream. I want to be the next PewDiePie or whatever, and get famous and make a bunch of money and get a lot of free shit, and stuff like that. It kind of is how YouTube works, I guess. But for the vast majority of YouTubers, probably even myself included, I'll never be famous. I'll never be rich from YouTube, and it'll always be fun for me. Although it is how I make my living now, but it's not a lot yet by any means. But you know, and I try to tell them when they
yeah,
partner,
and
if they're small channels, and if we get into that topic, I try to tell them, no matter what you do, just have fun, make your videos, stay active, interact with your viewers and your fans, and just have fun, and the rest will fall in place. And if it doesn't,
yeah,
don't set yourself up for failure or disappointment. Just keep
yeah. You
having
know
fun.
what? Like the chances of becoming big on YouTube dwindle every single second. Like,
Yeah,
um,
literally they do.
there's I can't even explain to you how impossible it would be right now to become that big. Even I can tell you this, even if you made the best content ever, the chances of it even being found are slim to none.
Yep.
So it's like
Yeah,
the reason why we always say you have to do it for fun is because what happens is you start to meet people that do like your content, but you actually become friends with them. And then like Justin and I are slowly becoming friends over the last like 6 months, just because we do YouTube shows, and it's not like we're doing this to collab or anything. You know what I mean? It's just like we're getting to know each other and becoming friends. And then there's tons of people in the UK that I'm friends with now. And
Yeah.
I think the first 2 years when we started, we were like, holy shit, we could actually become big and like make money off this. And then year three was just like, okay, whatever. I'm like, it's not all that it's just not that
Yeah.
cracked up that it is to be really
Yeah.
in real life. It isn't. Like, yeah,
I've
it's
never I've
That was
never
the
had a
hardest thing
big
I
I've
noticed.
I've never had a big channel, but being in the business that I'm in, I do get to talk to people who have, what I consider to be big channels, I guess. 6 digits, 100K or more, I think is where the big, in my mind, big YouTubers start, 100K or more.
Mhm.
But I still consider anybody that's got 50K very successful too. But uh, I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, yeah. It's not like, okay, when I got my very first channel, and I had 100 subscribers, I thought that was a big deal, and I thought, man, I'll probably never have 1,000, but my goal is to have 1,000 subscribers. Well, then once I reached that goal, it didn't really seem like it was that big of a deal. Now we have over 20,000 subs here on the network. It still feels really tiny to me. My personal
Yeah.
channel's getting close to 2,000, but
Okay.
that's because I don't really do anything with the channel. I don't really upload or stay active on it that much. But this is really
Uh,
my channel, and
my goal is
I guess as you get bigger, it doesn't really the new wears off. You reach your goal, let's say 30,000 or 50,000 or whatever, and you're like, okay, well this really isn't as big a deal as I thought it was going to be. And I
Oh
guess
no, it
those
definitely
people,
isn't.
and I guess those people that have 100,000 or more probably feel the same way. And I would even venture to say that somebody with 1 million subscribers probably doesn't think it's that big of a deal. Although I can't wrap my head around that thought, but
The other thing I've noticed too, now that YouTube's, there's so much stuff being dumped on there, and like Jason was saying, is like, even if you have extremely awesome content, that the odds of you getting found is that, I remember back in the day they used to say, well, you could do one video and you might go viral, but I've even noticed some channels that a video might go viral and have 1 billion views or something, but their channel has a couple thousand subscribers. So just getting one video nowadays, even still, doesn't mean you're going to get some huge fan base.
Hmm. Well,
yeah,
you know what?
no.
I, I think the community, like the actual gaming community and gaming channels, are all of us are pretty much dying right at the moment. And
Hmm.
I mean, I know the reason behind it has to be because we're at the end of a generation and people are just sick of Call of Duty. Who gives a shit about Call of Duty videos? Who gives a shit about Let's Plays?
Yeah,
Everyone's sick of all this stuff. Like, nobody
I
wants to
totally
see
agree.
me, yeah, nobody wants to see me play Mario Kart Super Nintendo. Like, who gives a shit? And it's
Yeah,
like, until this next generation shows up, I think it's just best to focus on the whole community thing and just making small little videos and having fun and enjoying your time right now, because right now is probably the most difficult time to get into YouTube.
yeah. You,
And I think probably November to December will be the easiest time to get into YouTube, but
yeah.
it'll also be the hardest for anybody new.
That's right. We're
my
kind of in a
goal is to just
stagnant.
have fun.
We're kind of in a stagnant place right now. Nothing new is happening at this moment. Everybody's sick of Call of Duty, and just game everything on all the games are pretty much old news right now. And if you're a gaming channel, it is a time of struggle for a lot of people. And like you said, when the new shit comes out in November or later, that's going to kind of revive everybody's YouTube
Yeah.
experience a little
So
bit,
there's
and there will be some times for new channels to pop in and try to take advantage of that. There'll be, it'll be a time for the more established channels to even have another boost of life. You're right. Everything is going to kind of turn over a new leaf, I guess. Around
yeah.
November. Also, I want to say that you know, everybody in general, probably a lot of people are probably tired of gaming videos. I wish that I had the technology and the ability to film real life videos or do skits or just do something that's happening in my real life, like vlogs and things like that. I really like doing, vlogs, and that's why I kind of like doing the podcast, I guess. And those type of videos, I see a lot of success in that on YouTube. I see a lot of channels that are big from just
It
doing like
depends on how
skits
you
in
go
real
with it though,
life,
because
you know. Huh?
I've seen channels. It depends on how you go with it. Like, I'm going to use this as an example. Guns for Hire's channel he did vlogs on. It turned out bad because of the reaction that he got from the people. It depends on how you establish that vlog channel as far
Hmm.
as the fans go. If you establish it like, kind of like he did, it's going to end up being something that you don't enjoy doing anymore. And so you have to kind of know what direction you want to go with it before you do it, I think.
Well, yeah,
See, but the other
it's
thing is,
always hard to try to backpedal or make big
yeah,
changes on your YouTube channel because you got people who subscribed for a particular type of content. When you make a change, you take a chance on
It's
on
like
leaving
it's like
losing them. But
establishing a
that
new
all goes
business,
back to
man.
having fun. Even if you got to make a change to make yourself happy for yourself, then I'm all for
Yeah.
that.
yeah. But there's one thing that I have to bring up here, and like, if you again, yeah, you have to have fun, but I almost feel like if you're just the type of person who's going to record a gameplay and talk over it, I'll be honest, I'm not going to watch it. Why am I going to watch that? 'Cause to me, it's not entertaining. It's like you need to, if you're going to be on YouTube and you want to do this for a living and actually make money, you need to make a show. You don't need to just talk over gameplay footage. That to me is not um, the same as somebody like Justin who edits it all, does skits, does actual special effects in his video, does
Yeah.
certain timed like jokes, all that stuff. Like he could easily just do a video and it's a let's play and talk, and like even we've done that on 3 kilobytes. But I almost feel like there's a huge thing coming up, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but
Do it.
I
Just do it.
I pray to God that on the next generation systems that you cannot make money off of a YouTube Call of Duty video. I pray to God you can't do that because I don't think people realize that that will save the community. If it goes the other way and you can just record onto your PS4 and upload your Call of Duty footage and put ads on it without Sony claiming the video, then all of us that we're talking right now, we're all in deep shit
Yeah. You're right,
because
Matt. I have
now everybody is going to be making a show. Everyone's going to think that they've made content that's actually interesting when it absolutely is not. And you won't be able to find anything that's actually good. It'll be so flooded, it'll be ridiculous.
we're
And
already saturated as it
it
is.
already, yeah, it already is. So when Nintendo announced that you can't use like a Nintendo game for like certain Let's Plays, to be honest, I was like, well, those fans don't own it. And
Yeah.
like I got into a big argument with a bunch of big people. Like Guns for Hire was pissed off. Sly Fox Hound was pissed off at me. Video Game Awesome was pissed off at me. But I still stand by my first opinion on that subject, and that's you don't like Mike and I don't own the game footage that we upload,
Yeah.
and we know that. So if ads come off of it, unless we have special permission because we worked at getting that special permission, then I don't think you should just be able to upload the video and be like, oh, it's okay, Nintendo. I just uploaded your whole fucking video game. Let me make a few $100s off of it. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, I borrowed it from my friend. I didn't even pay for it.
I've got a video tutorial that explains match third-party content. Um, Part of my job here at the network is to be educated on the subject and on copyright. I've done a lot of homework on that stuff. I consider myself pretty educated on it, and I agree. That's my view. YouTube.com, the website that we use every day for free, um, is a privilege, and the video games that we upload, and we're given the opportunity to make money off of them is also a privilege. And if Call of Duty at any moment or any of these other game titles were to announce one day that, hey, we're going to start claiming all of your content, there's nothing we can do about it, and we'd have to accept it. Um, it's totally legal, and they're well within their rights. I've had some long conversation about Nintendo, and people were a lot of people were pissed off about it. And my view on it is this: Nintendo probably makes a very small amount of its revenue from YouTube. They make most of their money from the actual sale of their game and their products and all their licensed products. And They have a team of attorneys and corporate lawyers that work for them, and they have contracts to uphold with other companies and corporations that they have partnerships with. And so I can assure you that it's not a bunch of dudes in suits sitting around a table going, you know what? Let's take some money from these YouTubers right quick and let's just start claiming our videos. I can assure you it didn't happen that way. There was something legal that happened within their corporation and their business structure, and they decided, if we're going to use copyright on these people over here, then we're going to have to use copyright on the people on YouTube as well. It goes across the board. And so if people like people, that are using YouTube for free every day and uploading this content, think that they own the content, they've got another thing coming. Plus, there's a difference between user-generated content. When you hold the controller in your hand and you move your character, and you're doing something in the video game itself, then that is your content. You own actually just that itself. But when there's a cutscene or there's music or there's something like that going on that they paid to have produced, then you do not own that at all. And when you buy a video game, you actually only purchase a small limited license to use the game, not to distribute it or to copy it or manufacture it. And a lot of people, I don't think, get it.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, have you ever made? Oh, you did make a video about that, didn't you?
Um, I've just had some conversations about it. I've got that video, that match third-party content video, but
Hey guys, I gotta run. Okay, man.
all right,
You guys do
Justin.
it. I gotta go.
Thanks
I
for
was gonna
stopping
say the
by,
same
man.
thing, but I I guess I'm a follower now.
Talking
Um,
about that after.
No,
uh,
unfortunately, I have to have dinner. I'll die.
oh, I was going to say, I cut out there for a second before you guys go. If you want to if you want to download this show and use it, you're more than welcome to. Because we're going to start over with episode number 1 on next Friday, because it's going to be a new revamp and everything. So this episode 23, you can copy and use all you want to. It's totally okay.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
it'll
I'm
be rendered here in about
gonna
20 minutes.
I'm gonna put in the chat my name if you want to add me on Facebook. That way we can like so I can check out your channels and stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Like everybody here. Cool.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna do
sure.
that now. Um, I'll put a link to my Facebook in there.
Oh, you one upped me.
I don't know, because I don't know how my Facebook is searchable, if it's by my name or by Mortarman. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot you could do that. I guess this is mine.
let me see.
Do you edit these? I guess you don't, right?
No, this will
No.
be uncut. It will render automatically in about 20 minutes. It should be live on the, to watch the playback.
Did you get the new feature, like the new live show?
The live
Mm,
events.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I tried it once, but it's different than this. It's not through Google Hangouts. It's actually through like you have to send it through XSplit,
Yeah, that's what this
and it's
is.
like
This is a true live streaming directly to the channel. It's not
through
through Google
XSplit.
yeah.
Hangout. We just used
Oh,
the
okay.
Hangout today to capture the screen region because the broadcaster was screwed up.
So I was gonna ask you, how do I guess are we off yet? Because I was gonna ask you
Not
something.
yet. Let
No,
me let me uh,
I'm
let me
still
go ahead
on.
and let me end it right now. I'm gonna end it,
Okay.
and then we can
Yeah.
continue. All right.
People are gonna watch this later and they're gonna not hear that we